hasn't been on Fox as much recently. The attorney from the coast who almost beat out Ronna McDaniel until Trump, for whatever reason, put her in during the last election for the head of the RNC. And then Vivek Ramaswamy. All right, Dan, who might be your choice?
I'm leaning towards Presler.
You are?
Yeah.
See, I'm not sure that he behind a desk is where you want him to be. My goal,
That's true.
My goal would be to give him a special office there, resources, and make him something in charge of outreach and let him alone. Let him handle that part. I don't know about him as a fundraiser or what, you know what I mean? So I agree with you. He'd be my choice, though, overall, the spirit of it, et cetera. It would ignite people. All right. How about Vivek?
I like it.
Yeah, again, and he's established businesses. He's done all that. But you know what? I think he's more going to be on the campaign trail probably. Harmeet Dillon, I like to run things. And then Presler and Vivek are like co-presidents of this, but they have different missions. Guess who Trump is going to pick? A guy named Whatley. Where did we have Whatley before? Where's that? What TV show was there a Whatley? There's something in my mind about a Whatley. Whatley. Somebody will. Okay. Here's the reason why. He was or is the lead Republican in North Carolina. Trump believes he delivered North Carolina for him. And Trump believes he is the best out there at going after what happened in 2020. Now, you see where the pitfall is here. We want to win. I get the temptation. Trump wants to put in, apparently, this guy who is relitigating still the election of 2020. That's not what we should be doing now. I gave you three great candidates there. I think Harmeet Dillon in an understated way, but the other two get a tremendous amount of power is where we should be going. I mean, that's the way it should look. I think that would be foolproof. All right, 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon. Going to be here at 12:30. And we have a tremendous amount of respect for him. And he's running against Brian Fitzpatrick. So I've been sliding off to Dan some text, et cetera, and I've been checking things out since, Monday night, I guess. And I didn't like the original source of anything alleging any kind of financial wrongdoing with Mark Houck. But then the Daily Caller today puts this in. I think it's a bit of a hatchet job. I think he can clear it up. The allegation is that money sent to him, at least in one source, for defense funds have been sluiced off into a trust fund for his kids. I see it more that his wife was pretty clear and set up a GoFundMe of a sort because her husband was facing how long in jail with the DOJ just panning at the door to get at him. And he's got 7 kids. So I think this is a hatchet job by the Daily Caller at this point, Dan. And what we do is we don't attack in this manner just because of that source. We get Mark on, let him lay it out, and you'll hear what's going on here. Now, this is indicative. There was some woman who pressed him on this. I have my suspicions about that, too. Was this just a voter or was it something else going on? And that's on tape. We'll let him explain that. He'll be here at 12:30. Now, this race is important because Houck, pro-life, national profile, and then Brian Fitzpatrick with that kind of particularly with listeners. This is one of those. It's the only primary in town. I don't even know what the hell's, there's never a Democrat. Can you imagine taking on the Dean of Decency? How dare you? How could you do that? She's going to let drunk drivers who are here illegally run amok in Montgomery County, which, speaking of Montgomery County, a news source sent this to us, and the allegation is that this guy's probably here illegally. Well, Dan, the news source, the reporters involved say he came across the border from Mexico May 5th, and already he is charged today with vehicular homicide involving a death of a 20-year-old mom and her 3-year-old daughter. The single vehicle crash occurred shortly after 1 a.m. in Upper Merion Township. Police were dispatched to Valley Forge Park Road, west of County Line. They arrived to see this Toyota had struck a tree. He apparently, allegedly, according to the police complaint, was going 80 miles an hour in a 35-mile-an-hour zone while it was raining. The passengers, the mom and daughter, no seatbelts. They were the airbags had deployed. The seatbelts in the front seats as well as the rear were all fastened, indicating the seatbelts were connected behind the occupants, so the vehicle's warning chime would not sound. There was no child seat. So the mom, Dan, as I
Hmm.
understand it, and the girl are passengers, right? I thought she hit another vehicle. They're passengers. Yeah, that's what I think is no? It's all right. You're okay. All right. As I understand it here, they're passengers. And again, well, doesn't this happen often where you have things like this? Yeah, but we don't need more. And what's the whole trail here? This guy from Norristown, as far as the illegality, how does he get a car? How does all this work out? How does he get the paperwork on that? The country's tired of this. You're tired of it. I'm tired of it. Now, there's no mention about immigration status in this police report that I see, but we have pretty good source on that. And I'm waiting for a clarification. But again, how much of this do we have to take? And the answer is Republicans, both in the House and Senate, are not going to bail us out. Yesterday, their failure to not impeach Mayorkas, who is as impeachable as any public official I've ever. What do you have to do? One jerk Republican, this guy Ken Buck, he's retiring, the guy from Colorado, and he wants to be on CNN. So behind the scenes, they have to use some kind of leverage on him to say, if you continue constant, how in the world could they not have a united front and say, impeach this guy? And at least we would have done something here. My God. What kind of, I mean, Nancy Pelosi was a lot better at counting votes and enforcing this. Republicans, I mean, they had one guy, Al Green, who had an abdominal surgery. They had him in a back room and they pushed him in a wheelchair. He was in hospital scrubs with no shoes on just to cast a vote to get to a tie on this. You got to give him credit for that. Why can't Republicans be pushing guys in wheelchairs? My goodness. It's hard to believe. All right, but one of the big stories today, and Bill O'Reilly's going to be on at 12:30 tomorrow to break it down. Tucker Carlson is going to be interviewing today, I believe, or certainly tomorrow, Putin. And the interview will be up on Twitter, I think, at 6 p.m. It's worldwide. This is a global thing. Here's the thing, going into talking with you today, because people get nuts about this. Can't you be against all this spending and Zelensky, the overkill of America to lionize Zelensky and the corruption in Ukraine, and at the same time recognize Putin for what he is, just a stone cold, maniacal killer? So, yeah, you can do the interview, but what rationale does Putin have to invade Ukraine? Now, if during the interview, what I think is going to happen, be watching for this. I think Putin is going to say he's open to negotiation now. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. And that is going to set off a firestorm. Now, we ought to pursue it, but I have no I mean, he doesn't know him. I mean, the lying and the manipulation of a Putin. So I'm challenging you. Can you make any argument for Putin here? And Tucker Carlson's an extremely smart guy. But getting the interview is great. This idea that other Western journalists refuse to talk to Putin. And I told you the challenge of this. O'Reilly's going to say it tomorrow, too. Putin speaks in these weirdo types of things. There's a translator. Then when you go back to him, you're going up and down the line. I mean, what justification is there for invading Ukraine? That's ridiculous. I thought the reason we agreed on that Putin invaded Ukraine, and I wonder if Tucker Carlson can justify this, is because Biden's weak. When Trump was there, he wanted to invade Ukraine. Why didn't he do it? He was afraid of any number of leverages that Trump had. One other stipulation on all this. China is our real threat, not Russia. So you hear all my arguments. I'm just sick of this idea, though, of saying anything nice about Putin. I mean, just face reality. That's the world of reality. It doesn't mean we have to continue to fund Ukraine. It doesn't mean that Zelensky is very suspect at best. It doesn't mean that Ukraine is incredibly corrupt. It doesn't mean that we're harming ourselves militarily by all that we're sending there. All those things I agree with. But on Putin, no, you can't put lipstick on Putin. Here's what Tucker Carlson said, though, Dan. I think this is cut 8. Here's Carlson offering his rationale. Cut 8.
Scout tonight, we're here to interview the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin. We'll be doing that soon. There are risks to conducting an interview like this, obviously, so we thought about it carefully over many months. Here's why we're doing it. First, because it's our job. We're in journalism. Our duty is to inform people. 2 years into a war that's reshaping the entire world, most Americans are not informed. They have no real idea what's happening in this region, here in Russia or 600 miles away in Ukraine. But they should know. They're paying for much of it in ways they might not fully yet perceive. The war in Ukraine is a human disaster. It's left hundreds of thousands of people dead, an entire generation of young Ukrainians, and it's depopulated the largest country in Europe. But the long-term effects are even more profound. This war has utterly reshaped the global military and trade alliances, and the sanctions that followed have as well. And in total, they have upended the world economy. The post-World War II economic order, the system that guaranteed prosperity in the West for more than 80 years, is coming apart very fast, and along with it, the dominance of the US dollar. These are not small changes. They are history-altering developments. They will define the lives of our grandchildren. Most of the world understands this perfectly well. They can see it. Ask anyone in Asia or the Middle East what the future looks like. And yet the populations of the English-speaking countries seem mostly unaware. They think that as nothing has really changed. And they think that because no one has told them the truth.
Oh, my God. All right. Look, it's a big interview. Great for Tucker on that. I just saw this too, Dan, the latest. This might be worse than we got to get on the Nassau County, New York executive. He's gone wild right now because this migrant got into a fist fight with a homeowner. It was really swinging haymakers. He stole the American flag and then he spit on it, and it's all on camera. I mean, how much more stuff can we get from this invasion? How much more do you need before Republicans can get it together, kick Mayorkas out of there, and use this to win back the presidency and restore order here against this invasion? If you've seen that, you probably have a reaction. It's the first time I'm seeing it. He beats the homeowner who was swinging pretty good at him after stealing the American flag for some reason and spits on it. Wow. They have him. And guess what? Here's the irony for this poor migrant. They're charging him with a hate crime. There you go. That's it. Use that against them. All right, 855-839-1210. Let me give you the side question. The Eagles, your Philadelphia Eagles, will play their first game of the next season in Brazil, which is Quite a plane ride. That's going to be in time zones. I don't know how much stuff. A lot of distractions, maybe. There's the NFL. The NFL would play in Antarctica and say, get out there. It's one of the 17 games if they could. We want to know something coming out of Brazil, meaning something associated with South America.
Not just Brazil, all of South America, right?
All of South America.
Okay, gotcha.
That's right. So I'm going to take off the mighty Amazon, and I'm going to take off, regrettably, Pope Francis coming out of Argentina.
All right, that's a good one. And the Amazon, I'm going to put that on my list.
Yes.
How about Peruvian pan flute bands, Dom?
Oh, there we go.
They're big,
There we
you know?
go. Yeah,
They're
there we
huge. There's
go.
a whole
Okay.
South Park episode about them. I'll
I
take
didn't know
those
that.
off.
Okay.
I don't know. I think this took place in South America. Anaconda, wasn't that on the
Yeah,
Amazon?
sure.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
film Anaconda.
Anything on the Amazon, I'm just thinking of bugs and locusts and headhunters and everything else coming after you. Yeah. And the rainforest. Okay. So you can hit us anything, get a whole continent to work with. This video of this guy stealing the American flag or spitting on it, then getting into a brawl on the front lawn with a guy in Nassau County, New York, is incredible. Charging him with a hate crime. How many of these videos are the American people going to see before they say enough? And who's ever on the wrong side of this, that's it. But we're not taking it anymore. All right, hit me on the side.
And you were
question.
wondering, it came in on Twitter a lot, Dom.
Yes.
Something Tim Watley was associated with. Tim Watley was the dentist in Seinfeld, played by Bryan
That's
Cranston.
what- yeah, I knew it was Cranston. I was thinking, was it Malcolm in the Middle? No, it was That's right, Tim Watley.
Yep.
So Trump wants Tim Watley. He wants a dentist to head up the RNC because the guy wants to go back to 2020 and say, you got great candidates. Why this guy?
I do know another dentist who would be good for the job.
Who was that? Van Drew.
Jeff Van Drew.
Jeff Van Drew. Now, I would say Harmeet Dillon heads up the day-to-day infrastructure. Vivek gets a piece of the action, and Scott Presler gets the other stuff. That'd be a dream team. That's what I would go with. All right, I'll give you the results of my poll I put up this morning. Got a lot of response to this. And I would say it's kind of negative, and I'm still challenging it for President Trump. I asked, if you're a Trump supporter and he gets convicted on any of these counts, the 91 counts, would you continue to still support him? I'll give you the results. You have a chance to vote in it too at Dom Show 1210. My theory is if you believe the government is weaponized against Trump, which it is in these counts, if he's convicted, well, why then would you not vote for him then? Doesn't that destroy your logic of why you're moved to vote for him to start with? 855-839-1210. You get in on Talk Radio 1210.
Every time I see you on TV, man, I got to say, you got the Sonny Corleone hair going and it looks great, man.
Thank you. Luckily, I don't have Sonny's temper all the time. And unlike Sonny Corleone, I have Easy Pass. Thank you for getting that, guys. I appreciate that.
What a reference.
Sonny Corleone at Easy Pass, he'd be alive today, damn it.
Rich Zioli, weekday afternoons, 3 to 7. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This is a consumer warning. Countless financial shows have promised the peace of mind that comes only with a crash-proof retirement. Yet time and time again, the claims of these firms are revealed as nothing more than deception. The imitators never last, but their hollow promises have caused irreparable financial damage that continues to plague investors to this day. Don't be fooled by the copycats. No other firm has access to the proprietary crash-proof retirement system that provides market-like returns credited as interest with no market risk or fees to over 5,000 clients through all economic conditions. So when you hear other firms marketing a financial X-ray, beware. Only Crash-Proof Retirement's Financial MRI provides the 44-step in-depth forensic analysis needed to expose the dangers hidden within your portfolio. Be with the originators. Tune in to the one and only Crash-Proof Retirement Show, which continues to outlast all financial radio programs as it has for over 15 years. Sunday at 1 p.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, Southampton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
All right, there you go. Shakira, let's take that one off the board. It can be a person, too. South America, the entire continent. I've never been to South America, and not sure I have a burning desire to go, but the Eagles are going to Brazil. You can't make it up. So something associated with South America, person, place, thing, event. Think outside the box. Hit us with one of those here at 855-839-1210. All right, here's the results of the poll so far. So I just asked, if you support at Dom Show 1210 President Trump, and he is convicted on any one of these counts. Now, the theory is people are saying, hey, this is overkill, which it is. The government is involved here in massive 91 counts and maybe more coming. Who knows? Okay. If you think that, and that's one of the reasons you support him, if he's convicted, why are you dropping him? Well, 70, it's gone up and down. Around 72% or so of people are saying that they would still support him. But it's varied from about 16, 17% who said no, they would drop him. If you're one of those, why? What is it about the conviction that would make you drop him? And about 5.5%, pretty steady, are saying they're not sure, meaning they might drop him. I'm trying to probe. If you agree this is weaponization, it's overkill, it's obvious, and he does get dinged with one or more of these, why would you drop him at that point? By the way, little note that I only picked up this morning because I was wondering about this. The Court of Appeals, and we'll ask Greg Jarrett about this from Fox at 1:30 today. The Court of Appeals essentially said to Trump, if you're trying to run out the clock more by saying these were only 3 judges, which is en banc, it's called, you want to have the entire Court of Appeals, I don't know if it's 9 or so in D.C., rule on this, and you think it'll take another month or 2 to do that. If you go to that, then we will say to start the trial while we're determining it. You're getting it, or start up the framework for the trial. They threaten him with, if you try to use your rights to say, all right, we're kicking this up to the entire Court of Appeals, get them together to meet, knowing that that might take another month or so, then we'll start the trial while that's being decided. Your only recourse on this one, on the immunity charge, is to go to the Supreme Court. Okay? And they tightened up when you have to have that to the Supreme Court by, apparently. Now, this is unusual. It's within their legalities to do it, but it's just another example. They want Trump to be convicted, and as soon as possible. That's what this comes down to. So if you agree with that, why would you drop him? 855-839-12. Why would you drop Trump then if he got nailed with one of these counts, if you think it's excessive? All right, so watch for this too, though. So Trump has to go directly to the Supreme Court, as I understand it. There are people today making the case. I think the Supreme Court will take it. You only need 4 judges to take it. So that would be Alito, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Thomas. Notice I didn't say Amy Coney Barrett, who I just think follows, it seems to me, John Roberts too much. But the Supreme Court could just sit on it, saying it's too determinative of the election, and allow it to go through the election. Do I think they would do that? I don't think they will. I think John Roberts is the one who will push not to allow that, meaning they'll have a decision in June on this, et cetera, and then the trial would start almost immediately after, think around July or so, right in the throes of all the conventions and nominating. Can you imagine? That's what I think is more likely to happen. All right, it's 855-839-1210. Let's go to Maria in Jersey. Maria's in on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Maria, welcome in.
Hi, how are you?
Well, very well, Maria. What do you have for us today?
Rio de Janeiro.
Okay, why?
Mardi Gras.
Yeah, Carnival. Yes.
Oh, that's New Orleans, isn't it?
Yeah, Mardi Gras, New Orleans, Carnival. Yeah, or Carnival. Yeah.
Yes, the Carnival.
Yeah, Carnival. Yeah, so bigger maybe. Well, I think bigger. It's worldwide. So, okay. Yeah, Rio de Janeiro is big, and Carnival associated with it is a big top 10 South American problem. All right, so all you have to do is hit us with that. We'll get your name. And now, Mark Houck, we were excited when he stood up at the abortion clinic, and then all that went down with the federal government raiding his house with 7 youngish kids and his wife there on 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And that a jury didn't take too long to say not guilty here in Philadelphia to that. Then the next step was when he announced he was running for Congress against Brian Fitzpatrick, the one true primary that's out there this time around, or maybe even there's a general election and maybe in a couple of them. So out of the blue, I start getting texts the other night about financial issues. And Daily Caller's got a story and an alleged video up today saying that Houck either would not answer, could not answer where some of the money went, or he said toward a trust fund for his kids. Now, I've heard, though, that his wife set up a GoFundMe account and people realized they were helping to fund her and the 7 kids due to the fact dad may have gotten put in jail for God knows how long and still might if the federal government has any say in it. So he's next to tell us what's going on and to remind you about the campaign. You can get into it 855-839-1210. Let me take Joe in Exton quickly here. Joe's got a pretty good one. Hey, Joe, very early today. What do you have?
Yeah. Hello, Dom, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My South American thing is the play Evita, which was on Broadway, about the life of Eva Perón, and the song "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina."
Give us a little bit of it, Joe.
Joe, how about a line or two from there? We'll help you. We'll do it along with you here.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
I love it.
Beautiful, Joe.
Beautiful chops.
Beautiful rendition. You got your earliest jet here. Joe means business today. He wants to win today. Evita Perón. Well, that's a background that Pope Francis came from, that kind of government. All right, Mark Houck is with us next here at a big moment for his candidacy. And we'll let you hear from the guy himself versus all these texting and third parties and daily callers about what's happening here. Hey, celebrate American Heart Month with Rescue Natural Supplements. For over 38 years, Rescue brand omega-3s have been providing people with the essentials to fortify heart health, reduce inflammation, support healthy cholesterol levels. That's why it's the best time to dive into Rescue's February special. Right now, Rescue's most popular products, their premium omega-3 fish oil supplements, are buy one, get one free exclusively for American Heart Month. Just use the listener code Omega50 when placing your order. Call him today at 800-26-LIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code Omega50 online when you visit res-q.com. That's res-q.com. Don't forget the code OMEGA50. Omega50 when buying one bottle of a Rescue Omega-3 to get that second bottle free. Again, use the code OMEGA50. Fortify your heart with the Rescue Omega-3.
Weather sponsored by Tommy D's Home Improvement Center.
High pressure continues to dominate the Delaware Valley. This brings another day with full sunshine, a bit milder with a high 44. Tonight, partly cloudy and chilly, low 32 for the city, colder in the suburbs, and milder on Thursday, partly sunny with a high 52.
Renovating a kitchen or building one from the ground up? Tommy D's Home Improvement Center is your go-to for quality kitchen cabinets, flooring, and molding at affordable rates. Visit their showroom in Philadelphia or visit their website, TommyD's.com.
Did you give up on your New Year's resolution already? If you reach out to NJ Diet, they will help you lose the weight the safe and natural way. Their results are nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. With NJ Diet, you will lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. Contractually guaranteed. NJ Diet uses your hair and saliva along with bioenergetic scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements that get your body into the fat burning zone. Then NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep the weight off. Don't take shots the rest of your life. Lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. Naturally, quickly, and safely with NJ Diet. No hormones, no prepackaged foods, no shots. You even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. Call 855-5NJ-DIET, 855-5NJ-DIET, or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
So you can see.
All right, Dom Giordano's show. Welcome in. You got to get in early. I see one that could be a winner here out of South America coming up. I'm biased on this one. It's a great one. But Mark Houck is with us. You know, I gave you a little bit of the whirlwind that we've seen with Mark. And then I started to get some of these websites reporting he might be dropping out of the campaign. Then I see Daily Caller this morning with this alleged back and forth with a woman at one of the candidate nights around the money that was raised. And I look at it and I think it's entirely appropriate to set up a trust fund for 7 kids if dad might be going off to jail. And I think people may have seen that as the intention. But Mark is with us to explain all this on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Mark, welcome back. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Dom, how are you? We must be over the target if we're getting all this publicity, huh?
Yeah. Well, I didn't do anything I just asked around a little bit, and it seemed to me you were not dropping out when this I didn't even want to give the name of the website. It's kind of challenged. But when I saw Daily Caller do it, they at least have some presence. So what can you tell us about the video that's up there? They're saying it's an exclusive story and $400,000.
Yeah, there you go. That's someone who wants to create a narrative out of nothing. But let's start with the first thing. The first thing is on Monday, I believe, we had filed 2 committee names for the House congressional run, and we initially filed HouseForCongress.com with the FEC, or not .com, excuse me, House for Congress with the FEC. And the reason why we did that is because we had HouseForCongress.com. However, it wasn't lining up with Mark Houck for Congress in some of our other stuff. So we had to terminate that particular committee name. And that's why it kind of got viral that we were dropping out, which we weren't. We have another committee name, Mark Houck for Congress, and that's truly the one that we're using. So we were advised by the FEC to terminate that one committee name because it was not one we were using. And that's a little bit of the background as to why that even went viral. So let's talk about the screening. What do you want to know about the screening on Monday?
Yes, apparently some woman there who strikes me, I'm not saying she looks like an average voter to me at all, and got into it with you, gone back and forth. about this money that Daily Caller talks about, and they have a video of it.
Yeah, so here's what happened. So we were Monday in Newtown. We were finishing up our screenings, which you and I talked about last week. And this is the screenings that the Republican, Party has for its districts. And every candidate who's running gets a chance to give 5 minutes presentation. There's 3 minutes of questions. Well, there were two people that I believe were plants there that just were excoriating me during the question and answer period. They didn't even ask questions. They just kind of decided to just make points. And frankly, they got rebuked by the Republican chair and vice chair for not even asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that came up was, hey, you raised a lot of money with the Give, Send, Go. I'm like, okay, well, out of the generosity of people's heart, my family and I were blessed, and it was all raised to support the family, my wife and my children, and their welfare. It was raised by a woman who saw the need with facing 11 years in prison, $350,000 in fines, said the Houck family needs some support. And so they started a Give, Send, Go. Again, it was issued, and we made a statement to Daily Caller as well, that this was issued to Ryan Marie, my wife, and then she took that money and she put it in a trust fund for my children. This is all before we even decided to run for Congress. And this was done so that in case I was persecuted further by the federal government, that, that these kids would be okay. And so that's what we did with the help of tax lawyers. I don't know why it's even in question, frankly, Dom, but apparently it's a question. It's not even money. It's not even money that my wife has even access to because it's all protected for the children.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Well, the Daily Caller, though, you did speak with them, apparently. They vaguely mentioned your wife. That's the part that jumped out at me. And yet they still put it up as an exclusive. That's not right.
I didn't speak to the Daily Caller at all. They didn't talk to me at all. We sent a statement. In fact, it was a statement from Ryan Marie, a press release that basically stated exactly the terms of everything and that, what I just described to you and your audience. And I don't know where they're getting this information. Again, it's smearing tactics, of course, as you know, and this is exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to build a case about something that really has nothing to do with what we're trying to do for this republic. And frankly, if it's the Fitzpatrick people, people really should be asking the question, not what is Ryan Marie Houck doing with her money, but what is Brian Fitzpatrick doing with Pennsylvania District 1's taxpayer money? That's really the better question. But, we have to deal with these questions. I get it.
Well, the people involved there, too, no way to trace on them because I watched the tape and it seemed to me these are not average voters unless they're NARAL or something and they're trying to stop you because of that. I mean, that's about the only thing it was an obvious thing.
Yeah, for me, it was really strange, these have been quite cordial, these screenings, and very, very supportive. We got 9 votes from the Newtown district. We didn't win that majority there, but we got 9 votes from the district committee people. And I never saw these two women before in my life. And clearly, they had an agenda there, visibly shaken as they were even excoriating me in front of everybody. You could tell they were kind of uncomfortable even with what they were doing. So I don't even know who put them up to it or what, but we just took it like a lamb to the slaughter, just like we did it in the federal court building. And I went up to her afterwards and I said, what's your concern here? And she said, well, you have no integrity. I said, well, why would you say that? She said, well, you took illegal funds. I said, what are you talking about, illegal funds? I said, those funds are my wife's money and they were put in a trust fund. And that's what you see on that video. She's walking away and I'm saying to her, they were put in a trust fund, as she walks away. And she's like, look at your temperament. I'm like, okay, God bless you, I think was the last thing I said.
I didn't see anything there that you were really going after this woman at all. So it's just not good by the Daily Caller. Maybe exclusive is still up there. It's way, here Dan has a little bit of the audio, Mark, while you're with us.
Sure.
It's in a trust fund for my children. It's in a trust fund for my children. It's in a trust fund for my children. Oh, dear God, honey. God bless you.
Oh, you went after her. That was savage. My God. That makes you unelectable right there. All right. Well,
No,
Mark,
thanks for letting us clear the record.
yeah, any debates set up yet?
I hope so. No, nothing yet. We continue to, press forward, and if he's open to debating, I'm willing to do it. I don't think he's going to do it, but when we know, we'll let you know.
Well, we're always open here. I mean, we get along with Brian very well over the years, despite some policy differences, and you, of course, same thing. So we'd be happy to do that. I think it's the one primary that we can see anywhere around that has something reasonable about it. Where do we go, though, if people are interested in your candidacy, they want to volunteer, contribute somehow or another?
Yeah, thanks, Don. Appreciate the time again. Howforcongress.com, HOUCKFORcongress.com if they want to help out the campaign. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark, very much. Thanks for coming on.
All right, Don. Take care. Bye.
Mark Houck here on Talk Radio 1210. I was sending you stuff, Dan, too, and I found out this I didn't go by the website, but I was told there was a distinction, just as he said, in changing the name. He's not dropping out. Daily Caller, that's the Tucker Carlson outfit found it. I mean, they seem to be pretty reliable, but they got an exclusive. Exclusive what? Yeah.
Yeah, just the audio just reminds me of you sometimes with callers when you're like friend or buddy.
The buddy,
like
thing,
honey.
Yeah. I've never done honey with who.
No,
I stick
haven't,
with buddy, even if it's a woman.
buddy friend. Yeah.
I don't know for a female if I've ever had to do buddy. All right, 855-839-1210. Got some good ones here. Jump in. Eagles going to Brazil. They're helping us with a great side question we've never done. Something out of, meaning associated with, South America. You got the whole continent. Could be person, place, thing, whatever. Think a little bit outside the box. There are a lot of them pretty good. Eagles playing in Brazil. My God, what they put the players.
You want to go down?
No,
you paying for a trip for the Dom show? Let's go.
Well, yeah, that could be. I think in Brazil speaks. It's the one country I think in South America that speaks Portuguese, not Spanish.
Does Argentina too?
I don't think so. I think they're
Argentina is
Spanish.
Spanish. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I think I can't imagine how much difference could it be between Portuguese and Spanish. I only know from Seinfeld when George was dating a Portuguese woman. All right, 855-839.
I've been said on Twitter a couple of times, Brazilian and their women. They're the women from Brazil.
Oh, yeah.
As a side answer, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good side answer.
Internationally known.
Oh, yeah. 855-839-1210. There's Mark Houck, and as this campaign continues, we'll see if they debate. No, Brian Fitzpatrick was not one of those Republicans who turned, he voted the right way. It's obvious Mayorkas should be impeached. There's just it's a layup. What are you going to do? This guy, Ken Buck, they got to get him in a room and say, look, you're running out the clock. You want to be on CNN. You're not going to continue to do this. We have all kinds of ways to make life miserable for you. That's what they have to do with this guy. Now go out there and vote to impeach him. Well, I can't in good conscience. Oh, yeah, right. How in the world did they mess up again yesterday? All right, let's talk about Captain Chucky's. Are you ready for Valentine's Day, Lent? Because Ash Wednesday and Valentine's Day are the same day. Next week, Wednesday, February 14th, you can plan a meal for your sweetheart. The big game party coming up soon. Hit the fish diet for next Wednesday and Friday, all with just one call. Captain Chucky's Crab Cake Company. Place those orders or just stop in. And now I've had the pleasure to announce on yesterday, and I told you about Ro and I having it on Monday night, the new Bang Bang Jump Lumbo Crab Cake. Delicious, creamy 5-ounce jumbo lump breaded crab cake with a kick for those who like to spice it up with some heat. Check your store for availability. Important to call them up. And now's the perfect time, too, to check out all the other Captain Chucky's offerings. They have those desserts, the soups, the sides, the appetizers, and tremendous number of choices of breaded, non-breaded crab cakes. Only the highest quality ingredients. Their Gulf shrimp is a huge hit. Always wild caught, never farm raised. My favorite, too, the delicious Dom rolls. It's all there at Captain Chucky's. One website to give you all locations, hours, everything else. WeLoveCrabCakes.com. That's WeLoveCrabCakes.com. Get to that nearest Captain Chucky, and don't forget that new Bang Bang Jumbo Lump Crab Cake.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
If you're facing $10,000, $20,000, or even $30,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt, there are programs available that can consolidate those debts into one single reduced monthly payment you can afford if you qualify. Accredited Debt Relief is on a mission to help you become debt-free in just 24 to 48 months. They've helped over 300,000 qualified consumers. Hardworking Americans just like you pay off more than $3 billion in debt, earning them an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Accredited Debt Relief will tailor the program to fit your specific budget and financial situation. So call Accredited Debt Relief now for your free no-obligation savings estimate and let them help you take control of your financial destiny.
Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. That's 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. Program and services not available in all states.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 5 GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
When you're still looking for love, Valentine's Day sucks. Every restaurant is fully booked. Suddenly all chocolates are heart-shaped and all the PDA. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Dom Giordano Show. Representative Eamon Brown will be here at 1 o'clock. Yesterday, Josh Shapiro, Governor Shapiro, you may remember, said we're losing out to all these states that surround Pennsylvania, pretty much all, where marijuana is legal. And I read a piece this week, I didn't know that Eamon's a big supporter of legalizing marijuana, but let him explain that. Coming up, is this going to get some traction? Some. The head of the Senate in Pennsylvania said something kind of disingenuous, I think, though. She's been on the show a few times, Senator Ward, that she can't support it and Republicans shouldn't support it because marijuana is still illegal under the federal code. Yeah, but I think this is a state issue. You know, if you don't want to support it because you think it's damaging, you think young people, it sends a wrong signal. But do we care in Pennsylvania what the federal government says on this? I don't think so. But that's the rationale they're going with. So can that be broken down? It's a long road to this. He's right, though. The states around us have done it. So he'll be here shortly on that. All right. Side question, though. Eagles going to Brazil. Something South American. All right. Ron in Levittown. Hey, Ron. Good afternoon.
Hey, Dom. How you doing?
Good, Ron.
It's actually Rob. It's actually
okay, Rob.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, good. Hey, my person from Brazil, or thing from Brazil, be Pele. Undoubtedly the best soccer player in the world in his era. He's to me, he was the Wayne Gretzky of soccer. I played
Well,
soccer my life.
wait a
and my
minute.
kids did.
That's diminishing him by calling him with the Wayne Gretzky. In my Dom's book,
Soccer.
I would call him the Patrick Mahomes of soccer or something if you
There
want.
you go.
Yeah. But
you can do that. You can do that.
and he's so cool. A guy with one name. As soon as you have that, that's big. And the bicycle.
Wow, I didn't know you'd actually show respect to him.
Who?
Pele. Yeah.
Yeah.
A soccer player over here. This is like.
Oh, well, he's beyond. Well, you know why? Rob, Pele is useful for me to show why soccer is just not a good sport.
Rob, if you're driving a 95 later,
Yeah.
watch out for those flying pigs.
Yeah.
It's one of those kind of days.
And the
Can you
reason,
kick a soccer ball 40 yards?
I don't know about
You know,
40. Yes.
Can you kick it 40 yards?
Yeah,
challenge.
That's a good challenge. Do you think is that? Can anybody kick it 40
I think it's
yards?
easier to kick a ball 40 yards than it is to throw one.
Kick it
Soccer
70, 80
ball.
yards down the field.
Yeah, I
Soccer
guess.
ball.
I can't kick a football 40 yards. So
No.
a punt, that's pretty hard. Yeah.
Like Rob Gronkowski over here.
Yeah. All right, we'll take that challenge up. We're always looking for new ones, but Pele is
There
a
you
great
go.
answer. And the reason, Dan, I like that vis-a-vis soccer, he makes my point about soccer. If a guy who can kick the ball backwards at 100 miles an hour scored only a goal a game or fewer on average, it tells you how ridiculous this
Where
whole
do you
thing
rank
is.
the athleticism of soccer players compared to other athletes?
Uh,
Who's
the-
the most athletic professional athlete?
The most athletic professional athletes, I'd say, are pro basketball players because of their size and yet their ability to jump, run, and move their bodies in unbelievable ways. It's clearly pro basketball player.
I think that's fair, because I would argue in football, but if you took someone like LeBron James who excels
Yeah.
at basketball and put him on the football field, he'd be, even better as a football player, I would think.
I don't see how football. What kind of athletes are they in football, really?
Well, you look at the wide receivers, the cornerbacks, some of the fastest guys.
Yeah,
in,
they're fast.
in professional sports.
Yeah,
But then you look at the stamina of soccer players who have to run up and down a field and do nothing for 90 minutes besides just run at the.
But watch it the next
But then
time.
they stand still for a
They
while.
stand still a lot, Dan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not. I don't think they're running up and down constantly. You can make a better thing about hockey, I think, even though they're skating.
Oh, you think hockey is more athletic than soccer?
Than soccer. Well, they're more cardiovascular because, particularly at certain points in the game, they seem like they're flying up and down.
Yeah, and my argument would be to those who say, "Oh no, soccer they're so
Right.
athletic." Is look at kickers and punters in the NFL and put them comparatively to the actual athletic people in the NFL, and a lot of those kickers, punters were excelled athletes at soccer, and then they're just trash athletes in the NFL.
Look at Joel Embiid, 7 foot 280, and look at what he does. I mean, that's athleticism to me. All
But
right.
what do you? He couldn't compete in football, Embiid.
Yeah, but that's not athleticism. That's strength and speed, maybe, but it's not.
Okay. Yeah, that's
different
fair.
types of. It's an all-round thing. LeBron James is an example, I think. There's a jumping and there's a pirouetting in the air. I'm biased toward basketball. We know that.
No, yeah, but I think you're fair here with this argument. Yeah.
Then there's always golfers. We know they're very athletic.
yeah, so
all
athletic.
right. 855
Race car drivers.
Now we
very
got
athletic.
another challenge. I got to kick a soccer ball at Mulligan's 40 yards this day. Let's get on that, Dan. We got to get that one going. Okay, Eamon Brown is next. We'll break down with him why he would like to see marijuana legalized. And then after that, got a ton of things that are breaking, including this recent video of this migrant stealing the U.S. flag, spitting on it, and brawling with a homeowner, all on doorbell camera. It's been playing all day. Big 1 o'clock hour next on Talk Radio 1210.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Hi, Dawn Stensland here. You've heard me talk about my friends from Piazza Premium Automobiles. They continue to grow their luxury collection of brands, and now Piazza is excited to welcome Infiniti Ardmore and Maserati of the main line, both located right there on Lancaster Avenue, and you're going to receive the very same first-class customer experience that you've come to expect. Find your new or certified pre-owned Infiniti, Maserati, or other Piazza luxury brands like Jaguar, Land Rover, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and more at PiazzaPremiumAutos.com.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
The medical examiner's office is investigating who sent 2 unmarked fetuses to Philadelphia's Mutter Museum. If passed, the governor's new budget will boost spending for education and mass transit. The family of a 12-year-old boy shot to death by police 2 years ago is suing the city and the officer.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Hi, it's Ian Bush. If you're looking for that perfect piece of furniture, you have to check out Bucks County Estate Traders. They have the largest in-stock inventory in the region, and I mean largest, enough to fill a 58,000 square foot showroom. Quality, high-end furniture and accessories, modern, traditional, mid-century, all types of European styles, current pieces, as well as antiques. They'll arrange to ship anywhere, or you can pick up in-store. So visit them on Bethlehem Pike in Hatfield or at buckscountyestatetraders.com.
Runner's knee, golfer's back, hiker's hip.
Any of these feel familiar? At Virtua Orthopedics and Spine, we've got a doc for that.
Baker's wrist, laptop neck, shopper's shoulder.
Yep, we've got a doc for those too. Virtua Orthopedics and Spine has over 60 specialists, 20 PT rehab facilities, and 26 surgical sites all across South Jersey. Find the right specialist for you at virtua.org/ortho.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Now on Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210, WPHD, WPHD-HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, before we go to our buddy Eamon Brown, State Representative Brown, Dan, pretty good one on Twitter for Eagles going to Brazil, something out of South America. Giselle Fetterman, Brazil, firefighter from there.
Hey.
There you go. All right, State Representative Eamon Brown. Yesterday we had the budget from Governor Shapiro. I was on Inside Story. I didn't know about this. They were talking about, could he propose legalizing marijuana, revenue, competition with all the surrounding states, etc. And I thought, what? We can't even get the government out of state stores. Now they're going to legalize marijuana. What's the upside of that? Joining us is State Representative Eamon Brown. Representative, welcome back to the show. When I was Googling around, I saw your name there. I said, maybe this is going to happen. How did that happen?
Hey, good afternoon. What's going on? How y'all doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah, man. So, we had the budget address, and folks are like, it's a whole lot of spending, and it is a lot of spending, but it is, from my personal opinion, is necessary. And the weed thing, I would like to get that done. I actually have a bill that I proposed last year, and everything he said is basically in my bill. So if we can get something like that done, majority of the state will be supportive. But to your point, there's something else that we can do in the legislature to get to generate the same kind of revenue, and that's passing the RTDs. Are you familiar with the RTDs? The stateside vodka, Surfside vodka teas in a can?
No, I'm still working on the weed thing that you said. Tell me about it. The vodka in the can thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so like Citizens Bank Park, they just signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Stateside Vodka, and they're ready to drink cocktails. So the issue that we're facing right now is the state stores don't want these to be sold anywhere else other than the state stores.
Oh, come on.
Here we go again.
Yeah. Here we go again, right? So it's like if we're allowing malt liquor beverages, so you can have tea and malt liquor sold everywhere, supermarkets, gas stations, and all of that, but we won't allow a similar drink because it has alcohol in it.
Wait.
You know, it's kind of crazy. But if you look at the numbers clearly show that the need is there. All the surrounding states, they sell them everywhere, and they're killing them with the revenue.
And what is it again? It's vodka with tea?
Yeah, so I'm confused. So are you saying they're trying to draw a line between like twisted teas and like statesides because one has vodka?
Yes.
What?
Yes. That's the fight right now, right? And that shouldn't be, because these Surfside and stateside ready-to-drink cocktails are in everyone's household. But the issue is that they're regulating when you can get them and where you can get them. You know, so you got people traveling to Jersey to buy 8-pack or 24-pack. And that shouldn't be the case. So we're losing revenue. It's the same argument with the weed. We're losing revenue to surrounding states.
Who is it then? What's the coalition? You know me, but we've never talked when you've been on. We mainly talk about the police and about your run for Merriman. But I have been on a lifelong crusade with these stupid state stores to get this done. And the people want that. But there's a weird coalition of the—
It's called UFCW.
Yeah, of the unions, right? And also these teetotalers in some places in Pennsylvania, and maybe the beer distributor, some of those, and they're able to block something that's common sense down to the level of what you're talking about. So is there any hope of getting this done, at least, what you're talking about with the vodka drink?
No, I believe the potential revenue that we can generate from this, and the conversation is happening, is actually actively happening. Even the beer distributors are on the side of it, because this gives them another product. We have to be real and stay up with the times, right? People want new products to sell. That's just what it is.
Sure.
And so what we're proposing is the state stores will still have control over certain areas or certain pockets and certain like sports venues and things in that nature, so they can still get their revenue. But we would just open it up to the gas stations and supermarkets, which the Retailers Association want it. Of course, the beer wholesalers want it. Beer distributors, people want it. The constituents want it. They want access to it. They want to be able to go to the corner store and buy this stuff. They don't want to have to, oh my God, I got to hurry up because this place is about to close at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, supermarkets.
Or they're not open. Yeah, exactly. Like why should I go to 5 stores
exactly
to get my items when I can just go to one store and get everything?
Well, look, I commend that, because maybe this is a way of opening up the thing again about exactly what you said. We're treated like idiots, that you got to go to 3 different places each week if you want to get the items. So let me go back to the weed thing with you, though. Now, I think this is a disingenuous argument, but I'll give you what the head of the Senate said. You probably saw this. Well, as long as the federal government is opposed to legalization of marijuana, Pennsylvania ought to be opposed too. What's the response to that?
My response is, I don't agree with that, for one. 2, and I'm not a big data guy, but the data for this have shown 70% of Pennsylvania, even in Republican leadership districts, we have done surveys and done polling. 70+% of their constituents in Republican areas want this done. So why are we focusing on the federal government? If we wait for them, ain't nothing ever going to get done. So it's like, we want to control what happens in Pennsylvania. We can't just pick and choose what we want to control. We don't follow the federal government on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the route they want to go, then that's what we should follow on everything and on every level. We shouldn't pick and choose what we want to follow up or support the federal government on. That just don't make sense to me.
I think the other argument is the other argument they make anyhow is, well, it sends a bad message to kids. Now we're worried about kids getting high.
No. So the thing. So if you look at my and I'll send it over to you. So my language, right, is very comprehensive one, but it's very detail oriented, and it shows you. We have a portion about how do you test for DUIs. We have the importance of a controlled substance as opposed to street weed. Street weed ain't good for you. We had a hearing in West Philadelphia about 18 months ago that I led through the policy committee, and we tested street weed, and we found 3 out of the 4 most deadliest pathogens in the street marijuana that someone purchased off the street, and we got it tested in University City at a licensed lab. And they came and testified in front of the entire Commonwealth that the street weed is not safe for consumption. So if the young people have access to it already anyway, why don't we put a dent in the black market and control what's going on and get the revenue?
I'm interested, Eamon, though, the one thing Dan and I talk about all the time. I'm in agreement. I don't know if it's 70%, as you said, if we're up in a referendum. It's 55-45 in favor, maybe 60. But testing for DUI or DWI, I haven't seen anything compelling that they know how to do that. What do you recommend then?
Yeah, so that was the main issue from the Republican Senate. How do we, and the law enforcement and the state police,
right?
That's their main concern. How do we stop somebody? I mean, how do we test somebody for the DUI? So we had someone who pro-law enforcement, it was a police chief up in, I believe it might have been Erie or one of them counties. And they said they have residents who work in New York, and you can get high in New York, but then they drive home and then they come across the state line, and now you're doing something quote unquote illegal. How do you what their hands are tied? What are they supposed to do? Because where they got it, where they were an hour ago, it was legal. And now they're coming home because they live in PA but work in New York State. Our hands are tied. So let's figure out a way to find some common ground to get it done. But that is a hurdle that we have to get over, and we shouldn't pass it until we get over that hurdle, because what we don't want is for people being impacted for DUIs and then losing their driver's licenses.
Gotcha.
And can I add this? Another major hurdle that we hit was the folks who are licensed to carry. They have an issue with, I can't be licensed to carry and have a weed license.
Yes.
Like a medical marijuana license. That was another major issue. That's a conversation we got to have. Because like folks are like, man, I'm not giving up my permit to carry for no weed license. So we're trying to find common ground there.
Well, also, isn't it true too? We had this guy on who would hire more people. They do forklifts and all that. The insurance issue, and if you're tested, because you may have to be tested for that, marijuana may stay in your system for 30 days, even though you're not high technically. That's an insurance issue.
Yes. Yep. I believe the insurance people were opposed to it as well. But the overwhelming majority was with it, is well overdue. And while we're in this space of trying to find revenue generators for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we should look at multiple different revenues. I know we're going to be taxing a few new things or increasing taxes on one thing or two, but I'm telling you that RTD thing is big. But the union is saying, oh, that's going to open up. That's going to open up what they call it, making the bottles of liquor being sold everywhere. That's what they're afraid of. They say, if we allow this, then liquor can be sold everywhere, which is going to hurt the PLBC, which I believe is only going to help the PLBC.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, look, Wendell Young IV and I are sparring partners in a good way, but he comes on a lot. You give me another one to take up with him, so I'm ready.
Yeah. So, I like Wendell, man. Look, one thing about Wendell, he goes hard for his members.
Oh,
him and his team, the guy that I think named Chris Naylor, they've been in the game a long time, and I respect it. But, it's times are changing. We have to keep up with the times or we're going to miss out, and we have to stay relevant.
Well,
we have to get out of those old times.
We know that you are. I don't know. Just one guy, a state representative from West Philly, involved in so many things. That's good stuff. So, Eamon, thank you. Thanks for the information today, as always.
No, man. Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.
All right, Eamon Brown, Dan, you knew more about that than I. So as soon as I heard the vodka, I'm thinking of my vodka experience at Mulligan's. But there's another avenue. These, if Josh Shapiro, I'll make a deal with him. If he can get rid of the state stores, he can legalize weed or whatever. Can you imagine the day we get rid of the states? 855-839-1210. Just the backwardness of all of this. Is Pennsylvania, he said 70%. That's a high side. I think it would pass, be 55-45, something like that. I'm surprised if, Obama was talking about that on a federal level. If he got in trouble in 2012, they might offer that up as a way to get over to the finish line. I wouldn't be surprised. Can you imagine Joe Biden coming out talking about legalizing marijuana? Oh, my God. 855-839-1210. Now, another product is much in the news as we head towards the big game this Sunday, right? The Clydesdales are back. Trump and Caitlyn Jenner, both, who are apparently wanting something from Anheuser-Busch, said it's time to give it up on Bud Light. So when I put up this new Bud Light commercial, which is in the vein of the old Bud Light commercials, it's fun. It's a genie, and the guy's pretty funny in what he wishes for. One guy wants Peyton Manning, like Dan, to be his best friend. Sitting next to him is Peyton Manning. Another wants to throw a football or something. There's a whole array of things in 1 minute. It's a very well done ad. Is it time to say, all right, Bud Light, you've paid your penance? I don't think so. I haven't seen them apologize. I haven't seen them, they're bringing the Clydesdales back. They have a clever new ad, but they're not saying anything about the original sin. And somebody on Twitter made a great point. By now, people have found other alternatives of something they're drinking that they like. Yeah, but it's not as cheap as Bud Light, right? Isn't that the draw?
I'm kind of over it.
You are?
Yeah, I think it's time to move on. I offer this as a response or counter. Does Roseanne Barr still deserve to be blacklisted for not apologizing after the Valerie Jarrett comments?
I think that's a little bit different with an individual, but you should apologize. I would say if you don't apologize, then maybe it stays on. Dan, there's a broader thing here too. It's sending a message to these others. Or is that not true? Are the others not getting a message from Bud Light? That's the whole thing I'm interested in.
I think they got it by now. I mean, what? How many months is this now that they've been deeply affected by this? You don't think executives
other
and board
products? Yeah, you think,
well, that's what I'm saying. You don't think executives in other boardrooms are looking at what happened to Bud Light and now thinking at this point, like 18 months? Well, I don't know if it's that long, but
it's a year.
Yeah, a year later, after the detriment that happened to their business, that they're going to try to go down that path after a year of this, negative pushback. I think a year is enough. I think the message has been heard by boardrooms everywhere, and they're going to have to deal with at least a couple months, maybe up to a year of pushback from conservatives if they try to go down this path.
All right. If you've gone back to Bud Light, I'd love to hear from you. All right. Damn right. It's time. Come on now. You can't, they're not backsliding here. Caitlyn Jenner, though, apparently is involved. I hate being lectured, though, by the Dana Whites of the world because he signed, an $8 million contract with Bud Light or something. Trump was going to meet with Anheuser-Busch, so he's touting Bud Light. Enough is enough. Is it? On Twitter, people don't seem to think so. All right? They just feel wrong that this all-American product went down this path, took the wrong side on this, and they have not definitively apologized. If they did that, I'd have to say, yeah, that's enough. 855-839-1210. You get in. AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All I need you to do is just push pound 1210.
Kale & Company will be sending someone on a 7-night Disney cruise for 4 to the Caribbean, and it could be you. Listen for the keyword weekday mornings at 8:30. Then go to 1210WPHT.com and enter for your chance to win. Wish you could show your kids the world? On a Disney Cruise Line vacation this summer? You can. On board, enjoy everything from Disney characters and imaginative dining to exclusive spaces for adults and kids alike. And on shore, sun-drenched beaches, charming locales, and crystal clear waters await. Now through February 22nd. Listen weekday mornings at 8:30 for the keyword. Then go to 1210WPHT.com and enter for your chance to grant your family's summer vacation wishes. Because the time to show your kids the world is now. From Kale & Company and Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, it's John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 here on Talk Radio 1210. If you or someone you know has been diagnosed with cancer or undergoing treatments that cause severe fatigue or brain fog, medical hydration may be right for you. Dr. Molly Fantasia of Innovative Medical Associates has more than 30 years experience in helping cancer patients to improve their quality of life.
We believe in medical hydration. We've improved it so much that we are able to help people across the board with challenges before they become chronic.
Nutrients delivered right to the cells support your immune system through surgery, chemotherapy, or wherever you may be on your cancer journey. Visit innovativemedicalassociates.com to schedule a free consultation with Dr. Molly in their Marlton, New Jersey office. And join us on Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 for Health Watch to learn more about the benefits of medical hydration for cancer, autoimmune diseases, and more.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
So many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. Each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
People who suffer from arthritis are getting real pain relief with exciting biologic therapies at QC Kinetics.
The success rate is there, and there's no better way to treat yourself when it comes to dealing with pain.
Meet Tyler Vale, co-founder of QC Kinetics, who says they can't cure arthritis, but they can treat the pain.
If you think of the tide coming in and out on the beach and what it does, it erodes the sand, right? Can't stop the tide, but eventually when the sand or the beach gets bad enough, we backfill that beach with sand so that we get generations of enjoyment with that beach again. And the same thing happens with your knee or your shoulder or your hip or your back. We want to backfill the problems that have happened to this point. I'm not stopping the tide, so I'm not stopping the arthritis, but I want to get generations of enjoyment out of those joints again.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. Learn more about how restorative biologic therapies can get you real and lasting joint pain relief.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
A message from McCausland Lock Service. Stop what you're doing right now and look at your car key. Does it look like it's been chewed on by a small woodland creature, used for batting practice by an entire baseball team, or left in the middle of 95? Oh, and let me guess, it's the only one you have. Head to McCausland Lock Service. Get a brand new key fob for up to half the price a dealer would charge. Call today. Most cars don't even require an appointment, and you'll be out the door in under 30 minutes. McCausland Lock Service, 610-430-1500.
Miss any of the Dom Giordano program? Download and follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app.
All right, Dom Giordano show. Story out of the suburbs, and it never fails to amaze me. Yet I bet we have hundreds of people who won't take my advice on this. A story in Fox 29, Havertown, bunch of cars. I mean, like 5 to 8 stolen in just an hour, all through one neighborhood. And the police are warning residents about it. Not carjacked, but just stolen. And one guy had a truck and it had $10,000 worth of tools in it. And the police say most of them did not lock the car, truck, or vehicle. What the hell is going on here? Now, why would you? Is there something that, is it a status thing? Like people that don't lock their door at night or lock their car? I think the car is
so
even
dumb.
more.
Like, well, no,
I know that I had to park on Walnut Street today, Dan, and I hit the little button inside, then I hit the other outside. I almost went back thinking, did I lock the car enough?
Yeah. So we're weird because we have like in the new house, we live in a 3-story townhome, and on our second story we have a deck that doesn't have access to the ground, so it's just like a floating deck that's off the dining room.
Right.
And Maisie ensures that the door's locked all the time, which is great. I agree with. But she also had her dad cut a specific piece of plastic so we can put it in the door to make a stopper, to make extra security, to reinforce the lock, so in case the lock were to fail, someone couldn't jimmy open the door.
Wow.
But Dom, there's no access to the ground, so they would have to like somehow Spider-Man their way up to the deck to even get in the door in the first place.
You know what? Marry that woman, or you already have. I love that level of security. I wish I had thought about that.
Yeah, I don't get why would you leave the front door open? There's no like do you I don't think we still live in 1960 where the neighbors are, just dropping into the house for a cup of coffee, so you got to leave the front door open and say,
I think they do it because
in.
it convinces them they're living in a nice neighborhood. I don't lock my car door. What in the world? Bunch of cars there just in a couple blocks. And the one guy says, well, I think I did leave it unlocked. He's the one talking about losing all of his tools. He said the working man can't get a break. Well, if he lets it unlocked, it's like, with $10,000, your life of tools in there. It'd be like me leaving my bag with all my precious talk radio stuff in there. Come on.
I don't even like the idea of leaving tools in a locked truck. Here
Yeah.
My neighbor was one of the union guys when I lived in Port Richmond, and every day you'd hear him unload his entire truck into his back alley just because if his truck were to be broken into, his entire livelihood goes right out the window, quite literally.
And probably tools you have for certain stuff, they fit, the whole thing. Every time we read that, and it still seems like I'll set it at 1 out of 5, maybe people in the suburbs are not locking stuff up. Might even be higher. Then Cavalcante can break out of jail. Are you locking things up then? Oh, we started locking our doors now. What the heck?
It's not even a convenience thing. Like it takes 30 seconds max to put your key in the door and lock it. It's in your car too. Like I know people who are like, oh yeah, it's in my car. Just go out there. It's open. Like what? It's open. You just leave it open out there?
Yeah, why? It feels naked.
All you got to do is press a button on your keys to lock the thing.
It feels naked to me. Like the car is sitting there without clothes saying, clothe me or something.
Right.
Can't imagine how you.
I feel the same way. Like, did I leave the oven on? And that's the kind of anxiety I get.
Yeah, exactly. Hit us with that. Make your case. We need somebody to say, no, I'm not locking. I'm living in America. I'm an American and I'm not doing it. I love Maisie. So it's a floating thing. And she thinks somebody's going still to break in.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
I don't get it, Dom.
I love paranoia. I mean, I thrive on it. Maisie, that's not enough. Maybe maybe a short shock should hit them
unless the robber has some crazy upper body strength and can somehow do a pull up onto our not only do a pull up but jump to like 10 feet high, and then is Joel Embiid breaking into houses
or Cavalcante crab walking up the side. Just watching that guy do that.
That's true. Danilo could get in.
They probably have that guy around the clock. They gotta have him now.
No. Soon after that, she made the decision to protect the back door after the Danilo escape. So maybe that was it.
Good decision. Let me go to Donna. Donna's still not drinking Bud Light in Maryland. All right, Donna, make your case. Hi, Donna.
My case is is that with all of the continued fight against the DEI and the wokeness, we still need to press the most public issue of against this product. And I'm going to give you an example of Riley Gaines now trying to make sure that men cannot compete in women's sports in the Olympics. And also the conservative who refused to apologize because she's a conservative, Gina Carano, I want to say.
Yeah, with Disney.
Is now suing Disney. It's not over. And I'm suffering with it at work. It's a very uncomfortable, and I can't say where I work, but it's been in the news. It's not over.
The thing is, though, this one product, the wrath of the world is on them. You think it still sends a message?
It's sending a message that the garbage must stop, and it needs to be, and I'm sorry that it happens to be the shareholders for them. It's unfortunate. They should be reimbursed for everything they've suffered because of this poor choice. But this nonsense has to stop. It's affecting our children. It's affecting our education. It's affecting people's livelihoods. And it has to stop. So it needs to go on.
Thanks. Donna, very much. I can make the case. I'm more on the side of with Bud Light. If you stop with them, but I get it. Their argument is this. Here's what they can't say this out loud. If they apologize, then they started to make a move toward that. Then they're going to get the backlash from the left. Now, you can argue, well, the left doesn't drink their beer anyhow. I know, but they can make life incredibly uncomfortable. So they're caught in the middle between these two forces. And what they're trying to do is issue a non-apology apology. And they're bringing the Clydesdales out. Now, I don't know how many listeners, Dan, have seen the Clydesdales in person. I did I guess it was the Travis Mannion run over in Norristown. It was a big thing on Main Street there, a big, long stage. It was incredible. And when the Clydesdales came down the street, Dan, you would have thought, they're horses. They look beautiful and all. I think there were 10,000 people there. And soon as they left, most of them left. They didn't want to see anything else. They wanted to see the horses. So Budweiser's bringing the Clydesdales back, I think, for the big game. In addition to that, I don't know if you saw that ad. I know you played some of it, but the Genie ad, I think it's pretty well done for Bud Light. It's fun. They're not making any social points. They're kind of getting back to that. But they haven't apologized. So your argument is you give them a year, sort of, right? And even without apologizing, what are you going to do here? They're caught in the
I
fire.
genuinely think at this point, marketing executives are deterred from going down a super woke liberal path especially when your target audience, your target demographic is those on the right. You don't have purple-haired librarians going out to the bar after their shift and ordering a Bud. That's just not. So I really think that if a company is sitting there in a boardroom proposing, hey, how do we move forward with a marketing campaign? It's not going to be wokeness in the top priority as it was that led to Bud Light having this kind of situation.
All right. I got to think of some other products that companies that really have gone out there. But okay, 855-839-1210. Also, the big game this weekend, a lot more products that we would call female-oriented are in there. And the reason, I've read this in several spots, they believe Taylor Swift is going to draw an unbelievable number of females to this game. Oh, my goodness. Now, the ads. $7 million for a minute, I guess it is.
Ooh.
It is. I don't think it's worth it. I don't. I know they could make, if you're not in there, your other product is going to, the other, like Coke and Pepsi both have to be in there. Oh, God. If they win and there's a marriage proposal, I may have to come on at midnight that night just to vent.
So let's just break through one of the conspiracies.
Yeah.
That being that this isn't a genuine relationship. It's a PR relationship for money. You don't think so at all? You do think that, I don't know, when they were hugging after the AFC championship,
Yeah.
You think it's authentic, just purely they found each other and they're dating and.
Yeah, but with her, though, she runs through guys. Let's face it. It's true. I'm not saying she's doing it intentionally. I'm just saying I think it's a flaw here. Gives her fodder for material, but maybe she's 34. Maybe she's settled down a little bit. Maybe that's the, I just can't imagine being with Taylor Swift. It's not something I would, I admit, Dan, we'll put it on record. I'm a sexist. You know what I've said? I've told Roe, if you make more money, then I'm getting 3 more jobs. That's it. That's hard. What am I going to do with Taylor Swift? How can you keep up? What do you have to put a meth lab in there or something? That's the only way you're going to keep up. Even then, you can't. All right, 855-839-1210. You heard Donna. Is it over with Bud Light? And you've heard Dan here, too. Coming up, Greg Jarrett is coming up from Fox News Channel to take us inside what happens next with Trump and all these legal cases. That's straight ahead. Let me tell you about FanDuel, though. Happy Super Bowl to all those who celebrate from FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sports book. And if you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks, and placing some super bets. I still say each day, go with Kansas City. Whatever points they're getting or giving, it doesn't matter. I'm picking them. But you can find all kinds of prop bets and super parlays. Which player will score a touchdown? How many points will be scored? New customers, join today. You'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/Dom. FanDuel.com/DOM. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. You have to be 21 plus. Present in Pennsylvania. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? 1-800-GAMBLER.
Sponsored by COSA.
High pressure continues to dominate the Delaware Valley. This brings another day with full sunshine, a bit milder with a high 44. Tonight, partly cloudy and chilly, low 32 for the city, colder in the suburbs, and milder on Thursday, partly sunny with a high 52.
Have questions about aging? The Delaware County Office of Services for the Aging, or COSA, can point you in the right direction. To see how COSA can help you or a loved one, visit delcosa.org. COSA is supported by Delaware County Council.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-403-5569 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-403-5569. That's 800-403-5569. What do you have to lose? Call 800-403-5569. Again, 800-403-5569.
Hey, it's John Ritchie. If you've been dealing with a POS system that just isn't getting the job done and you're in the restaurant, retail, or casino business, you need to call my friends at PDQ Signature Systems. Joe Flynn and his team at PDQ have the fastest and easiest POS system to learn, use, and manage. Their all-in-one POS system will save you time, effort, and money. Whether you have a single location restaurant or thousands of locations, PDQ can help grow your business like never before. Visit pdqpos.com.
Pastor Brad Lacey here, First Baptist Church, Conshohocken. Join us Saturdays for the great message and be blessed. 5 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
Greg Jarrett, a frequent guest here. We're thrilled to have him from Fox News Channel, the lawyer in residence, and his current book, The Constitution of the United States and Other Patriotic Documents. Greg joins us here. Talk about, this could be a full-time job, Greg, the twists and turns of Trump in court. So, Greg, this Court of Appeals, I don't know, it's legal, I guess. One nugget that I saw, they've told the Trump lawyers, as I understand, if you go to the full court now, which could take some time to get a ruling on the immunity claim, which we'll talk about in a moment, then the trial can start. We're opening up the gates for the trial. Your only option is to go to the Supreme Court. Is that usually done?
No, it's pretty unusual. And I'm not sure the Supreme Court's going to like that very much. Of the cases, by the way, which the Supreme Court accepts from the D.C. Circuit, roughly 70% are reversed. So that's the good news for Trump. The bad news is, High Court doesn't really take that many appeals from the D.C. Circuit, less than 10%. The question is, will this be different? Well, it could be because, Dom, this is an unprecedented prosecution by Jack Smith, a special counsel, that would dramatically affect future presidencies. At stake here is the separation of powers and immunity protections that presidents, in my judgment, should enjoy. So, these are historic issues. The Supreme Court may feel compelled to address them. And, justices don't like to be hurried to the point you're asking me about. They may be troubled that special counsel Jack Smith, the trial judge, the appellate court yesterday, all seemed to be in a huge rush to prosecute Donald Trump, giving him until Monday to file his emergency petition. I mean, that is by definition unreasonable. It is, I think, outrageous. So it's possible that SCOTUS will issue a stay of that and allow the former president to take the full 90 days, which is normal, to file his petition or seek a rehearing before the entire D.C. circuit, or simply ask for full review by the Supreme Court on the merits of the case. And all of these options would, of course, put the brakes on the kind of trial that Smith is trying to rush so that it negatively impacts Trump's chances in the upcoming presidential election.
Greg, I'm very sensitive to the term immunity, particularly with cops, qualified immunity, because if they didn't have it, they'd be sued around the clock. It's ridiculous. But I don't know, maybe you saw something, you were reading it with a finer legal mind. As far as the arguments the Trump people were making, I don't think a president has completely unqualified immunity. Would you make that argument, or what would you say on the immunity question?
No, I think they overreach. There should not be absolute immunity, but there should be qualified immunity in the form of immunity for acts taken pursuant to official duties. But they overreached. On the other hand, the government, in opposing this, as special counsel Jack Smith, overreached as well, saying there should be no immunity whatsoever, which is utterly absurd. And I think between absolute and no immunity, there is a happy ground of limited immunity, as I just defined it. And on that basis, I think the Supreme Court, you need at least 4 of the justices to take the case. I think they may be tempted to say, wait a minute, we got to put a halt to this nonsense and define it for future presidents.
Yeah. Now, I don't want them to rush to judgment too, but the one where I think they should expedite is the Colorado, Maine cases of taking a president off the ballot. I thought, they would get in there, they see what this does, and it's just undercut stuff, and more people hoping that's the way out. And if the Supreme Court doesn't strike that down, I can't imagine there's not 5 votes at least to strike that down, Greg.
Well, it should be unanimous, Dom. I mean, the 14th Amendment does not disqualify Donald Trump because Section 3 does not cover candidates for president. It's that simple. And I think the Supreme Court will say that in a rather cursory opinion. The office of president is omitted deliberately. And instead, it specifies senators, representatives, electors only. And in fact, if you do your legislative history, as I have done, you'll find that earlier versions of that 14th Amendment proposed including the president, but then they said, wait a minute, we're going to exclude it because the authors were concerned about Confederate leaders being elected to Congress, not the presidency. And moreover, Section 3 is not self-executing for a state like Colorado to make a pronouncement, or Maine for that matter. No, it's dependent on congressional action. You'll read that in Section 5 that follows. Finally, I doubt the Supreme Court will even address the issue of insurrection, except to note that Trump has not been charged or convicted of that offense.
No one has.
Partisan officials cannot, those in Colorado and Maine and elsewhere, cannot simply declare Trump guilty of insurrection without due process. Why? Because that violates the principal part of the 14th Amendment. So this is political gamesmanship. I'm confident the Supreme Court during the hearing will cast doubt on what Democrats are doing here, and it's a slippery slope. What's to prevent Republicans from banishing, Joe Biden from the ballot? Well, if this is allowed to stand, nothing.
Absolutely. Parting question, Greg Jarrett with it. Current book, The Constitution of the United States and Other Patriotic Documents. Each time we have you on, we talk about the book, but give us one of the patriotic documents people will find in the book and the context in which you place it.
Well, I think one of the more fascinating documents in American history is a letter that was written by the great physicist Albert Einstein, in which he warned Franklin Roosevelt that the Nazis were attempting to develop this new and frighteningly powerful weapon, an atomic bomb. And of course, Einstein's warning changed not just American history, world history. It triggered the covert operation by Roosevelt, by the U.S. and Great Britain to build secretly its own weapon in the highly classified Manhattan Project. When you think about the import of that very short, simple letter armed with evidence of what the Nazis were doing that Roosevelt kept secret, history, the course of history has been changed dramatically by it. And, people don't even know about that. So that's included in the letter, in the book. But you'll find 64 patriotic documents that, changed American history. These are inspiring words, galvanizing ideas. They represent our virtues, our aspirations, our ideals. And I wish that schools taught this to students in America. They used to, they don't anymore. It's the principal reason I wrote the book.
Greg, great stuff. And if I can wave a magic wand or by luck, get it to a person or two. I know that story about Einstein. When Oppenheimer wins this time around, it's not a long letter. They could read a few sentences to it. They might educate America, and they might uplift it a bit, and people might be shocked that that's exactly right. You get it from Einstein, and Roosevelt, whatever his flaws, said, wow, I think it was $1 billion committed in those dollars back then. God knows what it was like. It was the best money ever spent, arguably.
Yeah. And you will also, read Harry Truman's address in which he revealed to the nation his use of that weapon. The force from which the sun draws its power has been loosened against those who brought war to the Far East. People need to remember what this country went through, the grave dangers they faced, and yet prevailed through a great deal of courage. And, Americans need to know this.
Greg, great stuff. The Constitution of the United States and Other Patriotic Documents. Thank you, Greg Jarrett, as always.
Oh, Dom, always fun talking to you. Thanks for having me on.
You are very welcome. Great guy. And that letter from Einstein. Dan, in fact, last night, can you imagine what it's like for Ro? I told her about that. I'm watching something, a thing on To the Point of Truman. The Japanese on the main homeland item, they brought in 900,000 Japanese forces, troops, to face an American invasion. Can you imagine at that point? And I'm saying to Ro, yeah, Greg Jarrett's right. Einstein wrote the letter. Einstein wouldn't get involved in making the bomb, though. It wouldn't have taken the Manhattan Project. Einstein could have sat in a room, taken a bunch of guys and said, now go do this. I'm tired. I'm doing something else here. He would have figured it out 5 minutes. Go ahead. This is what you do. I can imagine Roosevelt getting the letter. Oh, my God, Einstein. All right. Hey, can you imagine Joe Biden? What the hell? Hey, Dr. Jill, what do you think? You're a doctor, too, just like Einstein. My wife's a doctor. She doesn't think we need the bomb.
It's a nice sequel sign.
Yeah. Can you imagine Joe Biden getting a letter from Einstein? Oh, my God. 855-839-1210. You get a line, you can get in. There might be a Dan time here of sorts. Oh, let me take Dan in Habertown, though. Dan lives in Habertown. Dan, say it ain't so. You haven't locked your door for 50 years?
40 years.
40 years. How about locking it today, Dan? Come on. What is it with not locking the door?
I don't have keys anymore. They got lost over the years, but I don't lock the back door.
Hey, hold on. So even when you're not home, your door's not locked?
What the heck's going on?
That's right.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. Dan is not his name. That's a fictitious name. Burglars in Havertown.
And he does not live in Havertown either. No.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Don't give anyone ideas.
Yeah. Dan, what are you thinking?
And I take off in an RV sometime a month at a time.
Oh, my God. Well, why would you do that?
It's so much easier to get in and out when your hands are full and bad weather. So.
All right. Well, Dan, thanks for the call. Your name is not Dan and you're not in Havertown. Oh, my God. I don't believe this. That you see what it's like being a cop? They're saying, okay, well, did they break the windows? Did they point a gun at you? No, they just opened the door. Oh, that is true, Dan. You're carrying stuff coming up. Why'd you need a Oh, my God. All right, so we got the Dan theory from Havertown and the Maisie theory. Well, I realize that's an island out there in the back. They could never get to the door, but Dad, and I'm sure the dad.
It's 100% him. It was Mike. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure Mike said, oh, yeah, let's put this in.
Bobby says, Dan, look up Second Story, man. Your father-in-law is very old school.
And then we have this other Dan who says, well, I don't want to carry stuff in with. I lost the keys. He can't lock it now.
Yeah, he doesn't even have keys made anymore.
Oh, my God.
And he goes on RV trips across the country and leaves his door unlocked.
I'm telling you, in the back of the mind, the cranium, the cerebellum here, Dan, it's saying, I live in a nice neighborhood. It's safe. I have good neighbors. Nothing bad will happen to me in Havertown. Now, if you're in the middle of Camden, police better there. I'll have to take you're in the middle of Kensington. Are you saying, yeah, nothing bad will happen here? I'll leave the door. They're going to shoot the door open anyhow.
No.
All right.
You don't even live here. I had a friend who lives in Brewery Town. I haven't even brought this up. He left he had a bathroom window that was probably about the size of one of our TVs. And we're looking at probably about a 40-inch TV.
Right.
No, smaller than that, like a 32-inch TV. So the bathroom window was that size on his lower level, his first floor. It was unlocked. And it was in an alleyway protected by a fence, a locked fence. Somehow, someone still had the gumption to break in, crawl through that unlocked bathroom window, and look through his house and take a wallet, nothing else, and just left the house. But
it was probably a challenge to them, and they're going to steal something. Thank God Havertown is that safe. Oh my God. This is my thrill of talk radio, the fun of it. We can actually get a guy, I take my RV, I'm in Havertown. What do the cops know? Leaves the house unlocked, let alone the car. Hey, maybe we can get Jim to go and check my car. I know I clicked it 3 times. It's not on Walnut Street. It's in China. All right, D-Day, June 6, 1944. This is not just another luxury tour. You know what it is. It's a pilgrimage, and you know why. The 80th anniversary of the momentous event you and I call D-Day, Operation Overlord, the invasion that sealed the fate of Adolf Hitler. Be there for the ceremonies, the only day of the year to meet survivors of the invasion. 11 days in Europe, fully escorted by America's leading expert on France and the D-Day invasion, Ken Chase. All this for only $55.89, including airfare. You get this Champagne day trip, the City of Light, Paris, the Battle of the Bulge, General Patton's gravesite, the Siegfried Line, Mulberry Harbor, Utah and Juneau, even a king tiger, Bastonia, the foxholes. See where the Rangers scaled the cliffs Ronald Reagan made famous at Pointe du Hoc and Santa Mare Église. It's June 6th. This event sells out quickly. Call Ken now and Conservative Tours at 888-733-9494 or go to the website conservativetours.com. Omaha Beach on June 6th. Be there.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The medical examiner's office is investigating who sent 2 unmarked fetuses to Philadelphia's Mutter Museum. If passed, the governor's new budget will boost spending for education and mass transit. The family of a 12-year-old boy shot to death by police 2 years ago is suing the city and the officer.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Time to finally lose that weight the safe and natural way with NJ Diet. Their results are nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. With NJ Diet, you will lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days, contractually guaranteed. Then NJ Diet uses DNA info to help you keep the weight off. No hormones, no prepackaged foods, no shots. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consult at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com.
urgent Camp Lejeune settlement message. On September 6th, the government announced it will soon begin providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000, with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver, or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may qualify for compensation and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement, with your VA benefits fully protected. You may be entitled to a significant financial award for your Camp Lejeune claim, but you must act now. Call the James Harris Law Camp Lejeune helpline now to get the compensation you deserve. We're already fighting for thousands harmed by the water at Camp Lejeune. Call now or you may forever lose your right to be awarded a settlement between $100,000 and $550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-217-1155. That's 800-217-1155. 800-217-1155.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you expecting a commercial there? Well, in describing the feeling of owning your own swim spa or hot tub, sometimes words can be hopelessly inadequate.
If you like what you hear, Jacuzzi Hot Tubs of Southeastern PA can help by transforming your outdoor living space. Everything you need to bring luxury, health, and enjoyment home with you is waiting at Jacuzzi Hot Tubs of SEPA.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-329-2121. That's 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Are you concerned about your child struggling in school? Do they need more of a challenge? Now's the time to make the call to Kathy Ganna and New Hope Academy in Yardley and Doylestown at 800-300-0003. Let New Hope Academy transform your child's life forever by helping them now. For over 3 decades, New Hope Academy founder Kathy Ganna, a pioneering educator and entrepreneur who created the NHA model, has been utilizing state-of-the-art solutions to uncover ways where your child could avoid struggling and succeed. At New Hope Academy, there's a student-teacher ratio of 2 to 1, allowing for students to deal with many disorders, including high anxiety, social, and emotional, and including bipolar. Do not wait. Remember, only the best teachers can work at NHA. Call for a no-obligation tour and consultation. 90% of NHA graduates pursue a college education. Call Kathy today at 800-300-0003. Online, newhopeacademy.net. Call New Hope Academy today.
Don't let woke win. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
It's stand time.
I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says.
With
That's right. It's that time of the afternoon where producer Dan takes over the Dom Giordano program. And Dom lost a legend yesterday, Toby Keith, passing away from a battle with stomach cancer. Great things that he did around the 9/11 that you know about. But any memories that you want to offer for Toby Keith? Are you a country fan at all?
Limited. Probably certain artists and certain songs. And country has changed. You know who I think is country and pop? I'm a big fan of Johnny Cash as an entertainer and his background, civil rights and everything. And the whole act as Johnny Cash is one of those, it's big. You know, he's so distinctive, what he did, and he just lived to entertain.
Yeah, I've really started liking country, but I'm with you. Country music's not what it used to be. I mean, you hear kind of the hard guitar here of Toby and the twang, but now it's very poppy, and there's like drum beats being put in, or drum machines being used, and not real instruments. And it's disappointing to see what's happening to country, but rest in peace, Toby. Very sad to see that legend is gone. Jussie Smollett back in the news, Dom. He is appealing his the ruling that he's been convicted for lying about being the victim of a hate crime attack. He says, his attorneys say what should have been a straightforward case has been complicated by the intersection of politics and public outrage, trying to get that decision overturned, Dom. Yeah, it's the cause of his own, is it not?
The moment of it, the preposterousness that they'd be chasing him down. It was below freezing. It was, 5 degrees out in Chicago of all places. And he's going to be chased down by these, not like Alabama or Trump country or something. It's just amazing.
And finally, a fight breaking out in Europe, Dom, between two countries, Spain versus French, over inedible tomatoes. The French environmental minister, Ségolène Royal, I can't pronounce his name, he slammed the Spanish tomatoes, calling them inedible, saying, "Have you tasted those so-called organic Spanish tomatoes? They're inedible. Spanish organic is fake organic." And this has been met with a pushback by Spanish farmers that have said, no, we're completely organic. So now a fight brewing over the tomatoes. I'm waiting for Italy to get involved with their,
that'll settle.
Vastly superior tomatoes to both the countries, right?
Exactly.
That's all I got for Dan Time today, Dom.
That's what you make the Olive Garden so spectacular.
Yeah, Polish people, I don't know if we grow great tomatoes.
All right. No, I can't imagine going to Poland for tomatoes.
We grow great pierogies.
Kibasi, I think. Yeah. Okay. 855-839-1210 coming up. Dom's Money Melody coming up. And Jim Greenwood, former congressman from the suburbs, all-time rhino. Last time he was on the show, it was nuts. We couldn't clear out the cars. Why President Trump deserves to be taken off the ballot. And this guy's an alleged Republican still in the Inquirer. And Deadspin is now being sued. Remember that kid that wore some kind of face painting and they said, "How dare the parents? This is racism." And he dressed up as a chief because he is a Kansas City Chief fan. They're suing big time. I don't like lawsuits and this stuff, but you know what? Deadspin definitely deserves it with this kid. 855-839-1210.
As I ever was, may not be good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
All right, guys, do you want to boost your confidence? Do you need an extra jump to your performance this year? Well, perhaps your big take in the bedroom has slipped over the years as Father Time catches up with you. Well, I've got the solution just for you. It's Blue Chew. Romance with your partner should be the best part of your day, and you need to be ready. That's why I suggest BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form at a fraction of the cost. And Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so there's no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package. And here's a special deal to Kale & Company listeners. Try Blue Chew for free. That's right, free when you use promo code 1210 at checkout. Just pay the $5 for shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code 1210 to receive your first month free. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA. Trust me, men, your partner will love the reinvigorated you. BlueChew.com, promo code 1210. Do it today. Thank me later.
Comedian Joe Conklin.
We have time for one more cliche from Jalen Hurts.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Well, he's got a lot more than one.
You can't judge a book by its cover. Don't cry over spilled milk. Cat got your tongue. A picture is worth 1,000 words.
I'm wrong. It's more like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at St. Anastasia on Westchester Pike in Newtown Square and at St. Mary of the Lake School on Route 70 in Medford. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
joeconklin.com!
At some point today, everybody will use a bathroom. But if you're a contractor, there's an excellent reason why right now you could use a lot of bathrooms. It's the Great Bathroom Break at Colonial Marble and Granite, where every vanity you buy comes with a free stone countertop and free sink. Classic, traditional, contemporary, in stock for pickup or ready to ship. Choose a color and style, get a surface and sink, and you're good to go. So get going. Colonial Marble and Granite, the cornerstone of a beautiful home. Restrictions apply. Visit colonialmarble.net for details on their vanity special.
Do you know your numbers? What numbers? Your heart health numbers, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your blood sugar, and your body mass index. They're important, so ask your doctor. Learn your numbers, and if something doesn't seem right with them, see a Deborah specialist at one of our offices throughout South Jersey. After all, when it's your heart, you don't take chances. Find a specialist near you at demanddeborah.org.
Runner's knee, golfer's back, hiker's hip.
Any of these feel familiar? At Virtua Orthopedics and Spine, we've got a doc for that.
Baker's wrist, laptop neck, shopper's shoulder.
Yep, we've got a doc for those too. Virtua Orthopedics and Spine has over 60 specialists, 20 PT rehab facilities, and 26 surgical sites all across South Jersey. Find the right specialist for you at virtua.org/ortho.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Okay, it is Dom time. Welcome in, everyone. Side question today. Eagles going to Brazil to play the opening game next year. Something associated with, meaning coming out of, person, place, or thing, the entire continent of South America. We've had some great ones. Also, very good ones on Twitter. Couple of things that I think he's 10, 11, 12, something like that. We're trying to get the parents on. More lawsuits, I get it. But you know what? Deadspin deserves it. Deadspin being sued by that Kansas City Chiefs fan who has the full headdress on and painted his face. Most of it seems to be reddish. And if you remember, one of the contributors to Deadspin went wild, attacking this kid, his parents, and face painting and racism and blackface and all the rest. And now Deadspin is sued. And Dan, the broader point that I was thinking about that I wanted to talk with people is not, this is, this is disgusting, the whole thing. I hope the kid wins. It's just what the heck happened? When was a turning point in the world of sports when these politically correct people got in there? Great numbers of these sports writers, commentators, their ideology is so apparent. And it's not just liberal, it's politically correct stuff constantly that we get. This was just another glaring example. I thought, when I followed sports, when I first started to follow sports, it was a world of rough and tumble. First of all, it wasn't political. It was much more about the games and strictly about that, et cetera. And there was not, and here's one thing I think that's changed as we move toward the big game. That sports, to me, and it's not going back, you're not going to put the genie back in the box, has become too much geared to just an entertainment enterprise rather than what really entertains me about sports, the life and death, competition, the sport itself. It's more just all these petty dramas, social media, et cetera, mixed in with more and more people that are liberal that really don't like what I think the rough and tumble of sports is. And they are canceling people. So this guy, just picture the number of editors at Deadspin, et cetera, right? Don't you think they said, hey, maybe you better check on this? It's the Chiefs. He's got a headdress on. Maybe a lot of that is red. Well, I don't like him painting his face at all. Do you remember the article? What he did? He accused him of racism, the kid, the parents, right? I think it was, not sure the author's race, but it had that flavor to it. And now we're back to a big lawsuit on this. And this kid will win. It'll kind of be like Nick Sandman, who won against so many media outlets. I don't know if he's ever gotten paid when he faced down the Native American on Pro-Life Day in Washington, D.C., with a guy banging a drum coming at him. And he was accused of all kinds of things by the smirk that he was doing. You have any memory of that? Of the Deadspin article?
Yeah. No, and I'm curious. Doesn't Hulk Hogan own Deadspin?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Deadspin's owned by Gawker.
Okay.
Remember Gawker
of
was
course.
they
Yeah,
multiple defamation lawsuits.
Notorious. Yeah, but it gets eyeballs. It does that type of stuff.
Yep.
But it's more these entities in sports that have created stuff. Now, it does draw more casual people, but when it takes over, like Taylor Swift is an example.
Yeah.
When it takes over, it does lessen what the whole thing is supposed to be. But now the whole thing, I think most people think of as entertainment, not something different.
Yeah.
There's plenty of forms of entertainment. Why do we care? Do we care as an entertainment enterprise? The Philadelphia Eagles, they're not just the Eagles, they're associated with the hometown team. There's something bigger than just entertainment.
Well,
Otherwise, why would we care?
You're talking to a wrestling fan here.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, that's what it's becoming
right.
essentially, is
Yeah,
wrestling,
right.
where it's not what's in the ring that matters. It's the promos around the peripherals. It's that. And I like it to a degree, but I think there's got to be a line drawn. And, when we're talking about the Super Bowl and the top talking point is not how many yards Mahomes is going to throw for, or, is Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy going to be the next Tom Brady and win his first Super Bowl and many to come with the Kyle Shanahan offense? We're talking about whether or not Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are going to get engaged. So, yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think we've kind of overpassed that precipice where we're now starting to care about the off-field stuff more than the on-field stuff, and that's not good for the sport in the long run.
Is when that, and it was a female sports person, whatever, asked the coach of Tampa Bay, you're going to Detroit, you're from a warm city, it's going to be freezing. How are you going to cope with that? And he said, we're playing in a dome. I mean, it's just, it's hard to believe. All right, so that's one thing, 855-839-1210. The other is Jim Greenwood's all-time rhino. He's been on the show several times. He has the Trump craziness. He's got another piece in the Inquirer now, why Trump should be taken off the ballot. We talked to Greg Jarrett about this. The Supreme Court on this, it is a no-brainer. They should have moved on this by now. They should move on this quicker because it just sets off this battle. And just think of the consequence if Trump is taken off all these ballots. We have Nikki Haley yesterday. And look, I know the Trump people were involved in Nevada. Nevada, how weird. They have a primary, and then they have the caucus, which Trump is going to win, which is the more important thing. But Nikki Haley loses out big time to none of these candidates, none of the above in Nevada. How does Haley continue on this tour? And if she loses South Carolina by 25, 26, 28 points, what's the rationale to continue after losing in South Carolina? Based on what? Well, let's face it. At the bottom line, if she's active and no other Republican is, if Trump gets nailed early on, say by May, on one of these counts, by the way, on my Twitter at DomShow1210, I put the poll up. If you support Trump, and one of the reasons you support him is because the DOJ, et cetera, the courts have been weaponized with all these indictments. If he's indicted on one of them, if he's convicted, would you still support him? And about 16, 17, 18%, it's gone back and forth, say, no, I couldn't support him then. Maybe somebody can explain that to me. I don't get that. If the premise is weaponized against Trump, 91 indictments, I support him. And that's one of the reasons. He's taken one for the team. But if he's convicted, I drop him. That's a pretty high number. I'm kind of surprised at that. How many people said they couldn't continue to support President Trump that originally supported him? All right, side question. Something from the continent of South America. Let's go to Tom in Glenmore, PA, with Dom on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Tom, good afternoon. Thanks for listening. How are you?
Hey, Don, great show.
Thank you.
Great. Hey, my thing was the girl from Ipanema.
Yes. Very
the beach in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, classic song, and that gets into the whole Rio thing, the whole bikini thing. One of the all-time greatest inventions, the bikini. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think the French were involved in the invention, but I'll give them credit for that.
Though, there is something good to a good one piece, though.
That's classy.
Yeah.
It's a classic look, yeah.
A high-waisted one piece.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Tom. Got you. That is a good one. That's what we're looking for. Think a little bit outside the box. 855-839-1210. And I'm looking at a report on Fox that says Iran is advancing toward a nuclear weapon. They could enrich uranium just within a week. Could Joe Biden survive anything weaker? And I wanted to pivot back before we do Dom's Money Melody. Tomorrow, Bill O'Reilly is going to be on the show. And I trust with O'Reilly, it's going to be great stuff. So I'm going to ask him if he were interviewing Putin. I don't know the toughest person or dictator that O'Reilly ever interviewed. I'm trying to think. I know with Geraldo, there were fisticuffs. They broke a table and all. And Geraldo told me, yeah, it was real. We weren't messing around. O'Reilly was coming at me. That's how nuts. And we may have to play some of that tomorrow. But my fear with Tucker Carlson is he's going to be in the tank. And the interview drops tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Carlson's argument is we ought to hear Putin's side of this. Well, I want to hear his interview with Putin, but what side is there toward invading Ukraine? Can't you despise Putin, see him for what he is, and still think we've gone too far already? No $60 billion more dollars for Ukraine. Zelensky's a problem. The country's a problem. The corruption. We shouldn't be propping up their own small businesses when we're not helping our own. Can't you believe all those things and still see Putin for what he is, just a stone cold killer? Can't you see that? And yet at the same time say, Russia is not the major problem. It's much more minor than the big problem, China. It's a distraction from China. That's the problem. It's really a gas station masquerading as a country. That's all that they have. Otherwise, they're third world, essentially. So jump in on that. Are you looking forward to Tucker Carlson tomorrow night tour? I see people on Twitter. They're going, wow, this worldwide, this is going to be huge, 6 p.m. But O'Reilly will break down what he thinks of it. What would he ask Putin? Remember with Putin, he says just obviously false stuff. You got a translator there. You're saying it to the translator. Translator says it to him. He says it back to the translator, back to you. It's very hard to do that. Yeah, I'm going to see what Tucker Carlson comes up with tomorrow night, the reason for the invasion of Ukraine. Anybody out there, help us. Now, if what'll be newsworthy is if Putin says, yeah, we should be negotiating on this. We should be negotiating a peace or something like that here. And I think he will say that. And that'll be the nugget coming out of this. What does that mean? And that's going to make things very interesting here in Congress, et cetera, if Putin says that, which he will almost without a doubt. I thought the reason Putin did it, Putin has wanted to restore Russia. He was restrained from this war, though, by what? Donald J. Trump. And the weakness of Biden gave him the reason, rationale, and ability to go in and do it. Isn't that the bottom line? Yes, Dan.
So I've been doing some research on the bikini back here if you want some information.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been doing some deep research.
I'm into Putin here, and we got the bikini.
Yeah.
That's what that is. What does Putin think about
so,
that?
The French created the modern bikini. Well,
Right.
two-piece bathing suits have been around for a long time, but the bikini as we know it was created by Louis Réard in July of 1946. It was actually named after, it was 4 days after the nuclear bomb test that he introduced
Bikini
this.
Atoll, yes.
And he named it after the Bikini Atoll. It was very controversial when it was first announced. It was banned from beaches and other public places in France in 1949. Germany banned the bikini from public swimming pools until the late 1970s. And some communist groups in America condemned the bikini as, quote, capitalist decadence, Dom.
Yes. Well, I have not seen, Dan, I think people make this up a little bit. Now, you differ with me. I have not seen a guy in a Speedo, maybe once 20 years ago, a French Canadian at the shore. I don't think I've ever seen a guy in a Speedo. Should the Speedo be banned?
How have you not seen a guy in a Speedo?
I have not.
You frequent the Jersey Shore.
Yes, I don't
Open
see
your
this.
eyes for those Montrealians, the
Yeah,
Frenchmen coming
I
down
just-
from Canada that wear the...
Yeah, now that I would ban. I mean, what are the odds that a guy's going to look good in a Speedo? They're almost nil. You know, I mean, it's just ridiculous. All right, 855-839-1210. You get a line. It is time right now, though, for...
It's Dom Money Melody.
All right, that's right. Today we're playing for a digital movie download of Air Force One Down on her first assignment aboard Air Force One. A rookie Secret Service agent faces the ultimate test when terrorists hijacked the plane intent on derailing a pivotal energy deal in select theaters February 9th, 2024. Available to buy on digital February 13th, 2024. Dan, what's the backstory?
Yeah, so this is a very convoluted one, so stay with me, Dom and audience, for today's Money Melody. I'm going to be playing a song that's sung in Espanol, a Spanish version of a very popular English song that's associated very, very deeply associated with a very famous film in which the two main characters at the end of the film escape down to South America. So, Dom, I'm going to play this song that's very associated with this film, and I wanted the listeners to call in with the name of the film today, Dom, that this song is very much known for, in which the main characters escape down to South America. Take a listen. We want to know the name of the film today that this song, when sung in English, is strongly associated with.
Aunque por fin después el sol de nuevo brilla.
Too easy, you think?
This might be a layup. I would advise layup watch. It's a dunk. Even if you're 5'8", it's a dunk.
So if you knew it just from that's all I'm going to play today. That's all I'll play.
Yeah, and I'm usually not good at this. I'll admit that. So hit us with that at 855-839-1210, AT&T, and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is just push.
Name of the film, Dom.
Name of the film we want. Give us that. And coming up, George Washington University got rid of their mascot and nickname, Colonials. Now they've changed the name of their student government, the abbreviation for it. I'll tell you why. And this is in the top 5 all time of the progressive triggering mechanism. It's amazing. Straight ahead on Talk Radio 1210.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
So what I would like to do in a fantasy world is have one remote control, turn my TV on, and then be able to scroll through and pick and choose what streaming services and what channels I want. Am I the only one that thinks this way? I'm just looking at it from the convenience of the consumer standpoint. I want to watch Fox News for 5 minutes, but then I want to flip back to a game. Oh, wait, this game's on Amazon this week. Yeah, you start breaking a sweat.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hi, Stephanie from Emmons. Are you not loving your bathroom? Is the King's Throne looking a little outdated and run down? Let Emmons Design Specialists design a bathroom that you will love and one that Emmons will redo in as little as 1 day. An affordable, maintenance-free bathroom with little to no inconvenience to you and your family. With finance options available, there's really only one problem. Your bathroom will be so nice, your king may never want to come out. Call Emmons today at 856-885-6677 or visit us on our website at callemmons.com.
Wrap your family in a comfort food hug with Hatfield's variety of marinated tenderloins, pork loin fillets, bacon, ham, ground pork, and sausage. With over 24 distinct flavors that can be ready in minutes, it's food you'll feel good about serving. Bring warmth and flavor to your table all winter with Hatfield. Visit simplyhatfield.com for recipes and to find a retailer near you. Find your flavor with Hatfield.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
The medical examiner's office is investigating who sent 2 unmarked fetuses to Philadelphia's Mutter Museum. If passed, the governor's new budget will boost spending for education and mass transit. The family of a 12-year-old boy shot to death by police 2 years ago is suing the city and the officer.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Deanna got some really bad news from the IRS.
They said, you owe quite a bit of money. They told me the possibilities of garnishing my wages, taking my house, taking my car.
Deanna found out about Optima Tax Relief. They've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax saved my life.
Call Optima now for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
For details, visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Purchase a 2023 courtesy Volvo S60 from Cherry Hill Volvo for less than $29,000. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo this month to purchase the sensational S60 courtesy Volvo for less than $29,000. This is an offer you don't want to miss. During January, we are offering financing for 3.99% on all new SUVs in stock. That's an interest rate of 3.99% up to 72 months. At Cherry Hill Volvo, we must make room for all the construction trucks.
It all comes down to this. Super Bowl 58. Listen live from Westwood One on the free Odyssey app. The Kansas City Chiefs.
Takes the snap. Darts a pass near side. Caught by Kelsey. Wrapped to the ground at the 12.
And the San Francisco 49ers.
With a comeback for the ages, the 49ers are going back to the Super Bowl.
Wherever you are this Sunday, stream Super Bowl 58 with Westwood One on the free Odyssey app. Download it today and search Super Bowl. AUDACY. Hey, Audubon. Tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
It's the Money Melody.
Where's all the money gone?
Show me the money.
That is right. All right. You got the backstory. Let's hear the audio clue.
Aunque por fin después el sol de nuevo brille en mi alma.
And what language is it, Dan?
Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah.
Well, we need Portuguese for Brazil, but it gets the point.
With the reaction, it might have been too easy.
It might have been a little bit too easy. They were getting to the phone. Let's see. Let me see if I can see anybody here that might be wrong. All right, let's see if Ed in Jersey. All right, Ed, what's the movie?
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Good, Ed. What's the movie, Ed? Hello, Ed.
3,
2, 1. I have to count that as a wrong.
Is that buzzer okay for that one?
Yeah, it is.
All
What
right.
the heck happened? John in Moorestown. All right, John, what's the film?
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Nicely played, John. I will put you on hold. You are a winner. You get the chip. It's kind of like the poker tour, Dan. He still gets the chip on the belt. We'll be sending them out in the new year, I'm told.
What about another guy who just dropped off?
I know. When you win Dom's Money Melody, maybe he thought he was wrong, the enormity of the answer. So,
do you know what country that they fled to in the film where they?
Bolivia.
There you go. Yeah. Great job. Yeah.
Yes.
Down to South America. So associate with South America, maybe a bit too easy. The song is way too associated
It's
with
the
film,
one
too.
riff is.
Yeah,
yes,
it's the melody of it. It's very recognizable.
I like it, though, when you do the foreign language stuff. Keep those coming.
That was from a 2023 Caller of the Year, Earl Ciccone. Yes, he suggested that we start doing some other languages, and it's going really well.
Okay. Today we're looking for something out of South America that is prominent. 855-839-1210. By the way, Fox today featuring Riley Gaines, who should be on the show in the very near future. She has a kid's book out. Scanlon, and I don't know the other woman. In the latest outrage, you had 5 male/gender fluid players, Dan, in a women's college soccer game. 5. And look, this is an injury factor. Spiking a volleyball above the net, that kind of thing, punching at it, the speed, women's sports. It's already happened in several instances. But 5 players. We're told, well, it's just one player here and there. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? 5. George Washington University. I'm surprised they still call themselves that. They took away their mascot and the nickname, the Colonials. They don't like Colonials. Community College of Philadelphia did that too. But here's the latest. They had the Board of Trustees has approved a request to rename the school's student association to the Student Government Association. The reason is that the acronym for Student Association, or SA, might upset or confuse some students because it also stands for sexual assault in some circles. With the new name, the acronym will be SGA. This is the idiots that we're raising, that you can't say SA, even though it has a perfectly...
Hold on a sec.
Yeah, the context would be student association. To them, once and for all, you can't say it because it means sexual assault.
How about the great continent that we're spending a lot of time talking about today?
Yes,
South
SA,
America.
South
How do we
America,
abbreviate
perfect.
that?
You can't abbreviate.
No,
We're going to
I
have to
guess
change
not.
it to...
STHA.
Yeah, something. This is just, it's not even the fragility. It's not even the insanity of it. It's just the stupidity of this. And this place has George Washington still as its moniker.
How about when those great Spurs down from that great city down in Texas, decide to play an NBA game and they have on the
SA,
Chiron?
right, that's
SA,
right.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's it. They're going to be triggered. That brought back all the memories, all that stuff. So I'm surprised that they still kept George Washington. It must be a money thing. You don't want to give up George Washington University. But SA is out of bounds now. All right, let's go to Lori and Ringo's on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Laura, good afternoon.
Hi, Dom. I'm transitioning from 95 to the Vine Street Expressway, so I hope this works. I really like Greg Jarrett, your time with Greg Jarrett, and I think I'm going to make it a point to get that book, read it myself, because it sounds like a quick read. I'm always a little daunted by plodding through some of the old documents. I'm not very good at that. So, and I think I'm going to, for my two younger kids, it'll be juniors in college, make reading it this summer a condition of paying their tuition for the fall. I'm serious.
I love that, Lori.
I know they're not learning that.
I want to see the letter when you send that. Put them down and we'll have them on. That would be fun to hear the conditions of it. But Lori, that Einstein letter is a perfect example. That is a very patriotic thing. If Einstein hadn't done it, Roosevelt could have gotten it from some of those Italian, Fermi or one of those guys. He might have said, "Now, who the hell is this guy? I'm not doing that."
Yeah, I didn't completely understand Einstein's role when I saw Oppenheimer. So it was really good to hear Greg Jarrett explain that.
They showed Einstein as a bit loopy, if you remember, in the beginning of Oppenheimer.
Right.
There at Princeton. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good stuff. All right, what's your South American?
Oh, by the way, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is one of my top 5 favorite movies. But my South American item would be coffee. Now I don't know who invented it, but a lot of it's grown there, and you have to think it's kind of changed our society. My understanding is it came into use during the Civil War as a stimulant for the troops. That's how it first became broadly used in the United States.
That is a great one. Dan, would we say South America is the most known for coffee? I think so, but I got to think on that a little bit more.
Well, do you know what really made the popularity of coffee explode in the United States? Was when your primary beverage of choice was thrown off boats and all.
That's right.
And there was a huge, boycott against taxing of tea, and therefore coffee became the hot beverage of choice. And
yeah, well,
1773 or so.
I got to play the guy who founded the first insane asylum, and I did it in Center Square here in Philadelphia with about 1,000 people there. What say you, citizens of Philadelphia? Because they were going to tar and feather them. And we hear that tar and feathering, you don't get over that easily, Dan. It takes a long time to get the tar and feathers out of there.
Now, if you were doing conservative radio in the 1770s,
yes,
and people were throwing tea off the side of boats, and
right,
would you still be sticking to your tea, or would you actually give coffee a try?
No, I'd stick with the tea.
Oh, come
Tea's
on.
a much better beverage. I mean, I drank coffee when it's just a nasty.
Even with the taxations, the heavy taxes on tea
is such a more sophisticated conversational thing. I bet Dom Giordano listeners are mostly tea drinkers, just like I bet they're mostly cat fans, not dog fans. Well, maybe not.
Oh, no.
Maybe
they're
not.
definitely dog fans.
Yeah, I hear it. Yeah. 855. The cats are just never get good publicity.
I think cats are the liberal pet.
No, I don't think so at all.
Yeah, they
Why?
are. Because
So
they
you're
expect all
saying
the
that
handouts.
So conservatives are dogs?
Yeah, well, they prefer dogs. I mean, man's best friend.
No, but I meant they're dogs in the sense that they just want to please you versus cats that you have to win over.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think it's more conservative.
Like cats, they just sit there with their paw out expecting handouts, and they expect the world to come to them, and they're so entitled sitting there all the time.
Yeah, well, they kill every kind of rodent imaginable. They keep things away. There's that.
True.
All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board. This upcoming, love to hear what you have to say about Tucker Carlson. We're going to have Bill O'Reilly on tomorrow. Look, it's great that he got the Putin interview. Other people are trying to do the Putin interview. Megyn Kelly did it, and Megyn Kelly talked about the difficulty of doing it because of the translator and everything. You don't want to go overboard. You don't want to be, you dictator. Might not get out of Russia. But you don't want to be in the tank. And Tucker Carlson's giving me all kinds of what can Putin possibly tell us is the reason he invaded Ukraine. My story, and I'm sticking to it, I don't care what happens tomorrow when the Carlson interview drops, is this. This guy has visions of grandeur, restoring Russia, invading these other countries. The thing that stopped him was President Trump. Trump told him there'd be repercussions. There were all kinds of leverages, and Trump's a wild card. So Putin didn't do it on Trump's watch. Why did he suddenly do it on Biden's watch? He sensed weakness. He moved in for the kill. So you can be anti-Zelensky. I am too. I don't trust the whole thing. The interviews have been just pandering. Nobody's ever asked Zelensky a back and forth conversation about any number of things. The corruption there is unbelievable. We've already done our part with Ukraine. We don't want more involvement to have this move into another phase. I'm on board with all those. But I'm not going to be told that Putin isn't what he is. All right? Now, I'm not saying Russia's the biggest threat. We know that China is. We've known that for some time. They're an existential threat. Russia is a distraction, but it's a fairly major distraction. So 855-839-1210. Are you going to be saying, that's right, that's why he did it, that's why we shouldn't care? There are better arguments against this involvement with Ukraine, much better than Putin has an argument. He was wronged. Oh, my God. All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get in. Soon we'll have the lightning round. Coffee's a pretty good one, I think, Dan. Pope Francis, I thought, was a brilliant one. Who put I put that one in. What was yours again, Dan? What was yours?
It was a brilliant answer, Dom. Yeah, you submitted it.
Yeah.
What did I have today? I don't even remember. I'm trying to pull it up. It's been a long show
Something
today.
Peruvian.
Yeah, Peruvian pan flute bands. Yeah.
Yes.
And
okay.
Anaconda, the film.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, taking place on the Amazon River.
All right. So last year at the Super Bowl, Rob Gronkowski. There is a Polish star.
Oh, wow,
went wide
right.
left on FanDuel's Kick of Destiny. Now he's back for the Kick of Destiny 2. And this time you can play along. All you have to do is choose if Gronk will make or miss. I'm in the make camp this time. Get your free pick in right now because if you're right, you'll win a share of $10 million in bonus bets. Everyone can get in on the action when Gronk takes his shot at redemption before Super Bowl 58. Whether your team make or team miss, just head to the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get your pick, and it's absolutely free. Then tune in before the game to see Gronk's kick live. You win a share of $10 million in bonus bets if you're right. If you're new to FanDuel, just visit FanDuel.com/Dom, D-O-M, to sign up. And make every moment more with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania, no purchase necessary. $10 million prize pool to be split equally among all eligible participants who make the correct pick. Prize issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Overnight, down to around 30 for the low. For tomorrow, sunshine mixing with some clouds, 52 the high. On Friday, a little bit warmer and 55. On Saturday, not particularly sunny, but 62. And maybe some rain by the beginning of the week.
Weather sponsored by Bestwork Industries for the Blind. Weather sponsored by Bestwork Industries for the Blind's e-commerce store, helping businesses succeed in all work environments. BestworkSupplyCenter.com offers traditional office products, cleaning supplies, furniture, technology, and more. Shop now and save at BestworkSupplyCenter.com.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Her words weren't written under peaceful shade, but under fear for her life.
I don't think of all the misery, but of the beauty that still remains.
The words of Anne Frank continue to fill us with hope. Hope. Pass it on from PassItOn.com.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
This is a consumer warning.
Countless financial shows have promised the peace of mind that comes only with a crash-proof retirement. Yet time and time again, the claims of these firms are revealed as nothing more than deception. The imitators never last, but their hollow promises have caused irreparable financial damage that continues to plague investors to this day. Don't be fooled by the copycats. No other firm has access to the proprietary crash-proof retirement system that provides market-like returns credited as interest with no market risk or fees to over 5,000 clients through all economic conditions. So when you hear other firms marketing a financial X-ray, beware. Only Crash-Proof Retirement's Financial MRI provides the 44-step in-depth forensic analysis needed to expose the dangers hidden within your portfolio. Be with the originators. Tune in to the one and only Crash-Proof Retirement Show, which continues to outlast all financial radio programs as it has for over 15 years. Sunday at 10 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The key to unlock the next breakthrough in cancer research could be sitting in your driveway. Stand Up to Cancer's vehicle donation program makes it easy to turn your unwanted vehicle into funding to support innovative cancer research. So when you're looking to get rid of your old car, truck, motorcycle, RV, or boat, why not donate it to Stand Up to Cancer? You can be a driving force in cancer research. Donate your car today. Visit standuptocancer.org/cars to learn more.
Hey, it's Joe to Camera. We all want to trust the people that service our cars. That's why you should get to United Tire and Service for their fast and friendly service. From a fast oil change to needed engine repair, they take the time to get to know you and your car. Always working to get you the very best tire prices by shopping the competition to save you money on all major brands. Check out one of their 10 locally owned United Tire locations or schedule your appointment today at UnitedTire.com. That's UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone. Drive United.
Pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, or back that won't go away? Check out QC Kinetics. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. QC Kinetics. 215-999-3000.
Broadcasting live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
All right, Dom time. And Dan, usually it's just a quick and we got our buddy Scott Presler on, but not today. Could it be he really is under consideration for RNC leadership? We haven't heard from too many people. Ronna McDaniel, thank God, is out. But this Whatley guy, like Tim Whatley, the dentist on Seinfeld, Whatley, the head of the Republicans in North Carolina, is who Trump wants. And I think his claim to fame is he keeps on with the election problems of 2020. That's not exactly what I want to hear. I like Harmeet Dillon, Scott Presler could be part of it, and Vivek Ramaswamy. They ought to be the triumvirate, and that would be a heck of an RNC. All right, let's go to John in Wildwood. And John, you're next in on Talk Radio 1210. Hello, John.
How you doing, Dom?
Good, John.
I'm calling about your question about Putin, and
yes.
I'll preface my statement with, I totally agree. Putin is an evil person, absolutely understandable. But so was Stalin, and he was our ally during World War II, and we should have gotten rid of him at the time, but we didn't.
All right,
anyway,
big difference though that you probably recognize, John. But I just want to state it. I could see it. World War II. What the heck are you going to do? Grave, existential. I don't think we need the alliance with Putin and how evil he is at this point. I'm not buying you're going to break him away from China and all these back and forth. China is the existential threat. Is your argument then Putin can help us with China?
No, not at all. Not at all. I was just saying, we were friendly or talking to or using actually evil men at certain times of the world. I don't want to use Putin for anything, but you're asking for why would Putin want to do this, all this stuff. And from what I understand, before Trump was president, Putin was told, and he said too, that if Ukraine joins the UN, then they're going to have UN missiles and UN armory at the Russian border, and he did not want that. No way was it going to happen. And Trump went along with that and didn't coerce Ukraine to join the UN. He never talked about it, didn't want to deal with it. I guess whatever it was, Trump didn't do that. But when Biden got into office, that's when they started talking about Ukraine joining the UN. And that's when Putin said, oh, really? I told you that's not going to happen on my watch. And that's why he went into Ukraine. Right or wrong, I'm just saying that's what I'm
Okay,
hearing.
well, we'll see. The only
as
thing
a
I would
reason
add
why.
with that, remember, Ukraine gave up the missiles. Now, if suddenly they were putting missiles in, to your point, and in that process, he attacks, all right, then you have a more rational argument.
I understand. I'm just saying that was the argument that I heard was if Ukraine joins the UN, all bets are off as far as him not invading Ukraine. I mean, Ukraine, I can't stand Zelensky. I think he's a dictator himself. But
you're
that's
right.
my opinion about him.
There are elements of this, but in fairness, Putin and what's going on there in Russia after they had a spasm of democracy is amazingly, he still pales in comparison to the Chinese. But you know what?
Absolutely.
What would John, if he makes it, see, the stronger thing Putin's going to do, he's smart on this. What he's going to do, I believe, is say, it's time to negotiate and all that now. And that's really going to put the Biden administration in a tough spot.
Yes, it is. You're absolutely correct. I think that's what's going to happen. But Biden's going to be weak, and you're afraid of. I'm more afraid of what Biden might give in to Putin than what Trump would stop him from doing. Let's say.
Interesting.
So,
I'm more afraid that Biden and under pressure of the Democrats overreacts and doesn't want to go down that path, wants to continue this in some way. But John, I would say this, the biggest thing Trump's legacy will be no unending wars involvement. So you can't ratchet up Americans by pushing back against Putin and Ukraine. That's not going to work, flying the flag on that. Too many Americans get it. We're not going to lose American lives again in all these unending wars.
Yeah, and I think Trump has also said it's not just American lives. He doesn't want anybody's soldiers dying for any stupid reasons. It's just not going to happen while he's on watch. And I respect that. I just do.
Definitely. John, what's your South American thing?
I don't have one. I do apologize.
That's okay.
I wasn't really into what you're asking.
No,
so
I'm glad you called in about Tucker. Tomorrow, Bill O'Reilly at 12:30. He's interviewed Obama a couple times, maybe one other president, vis-a-vis the Super Bowl interview. I don't know about dictators, though. I don't think Fidel Castro says, yeah, bring that Bill O'Reilly in here. I want to do the interview with him. You got Barbara Walters. Megyn Kelly did the Putin interview and said how difficult it was. Joe in Parksburg, Pennsylvania. Hello, Joe. Good afternoon.
I believe you got Robert from Ben Salem, Tom.
Oh, Robert from Ben Salem. There's gremlins in here. There's some Putin plot. He didn't poison my teapot, so he's messing up my board here.
First Joe poses as Robert, now Robert's posing as Joe.
Yeah.
Another Joe.
See, notice Joe of Exton calls in early when the lines are not as busy. He's not going to be transferred. What did he say today, Joe of Exton's thing was, Dan, from
Avita.
Yeah.
Avita. That seemed to fit.
Oh,
I think when he calls in early and things happen later, I think Joe's behind it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He wants to win big time, yes.
I just wanted to comment real quick about the legalization and what Eamon Brown was talking about.
Yes.
Just two things. First, you're not going to realize the tax revenue that you think you're going to realize because people are going to go to the store out of novelty, see the prices, novelty will wear off, they'll go back to the street where that weed is available. To my point, here in Pennsylvania, it's not legal except for medical use. But I could go out right now and get dispensary weed on the street. They call it dispo. I mean, so he's going to increase the black market and you're not going to get the revenue that you think you're going to get. And up in New York for years, they left the weed dealers on the street alone because they were low crime problems. But now that they've legalized it in New York, they're going out and busting all the people who are still selling weed on the street. And if that's not a mob move, I don't know what is. I mean, eliminate competition, but we'll let you sell it in our stores on a priority basis.
A quick point on that. Remember that overweight guy that was killed by the police piling on him, selling Lucy's on Staten Island? I take your point on that. But as far as I can tell, Robert, Colorado, somehow or another, unless we don't know about it, hasn't had the problems that you're talking. Or Jersey hasn't gotten quite the revenue, but I think they're bringing in pretty good revenue.
Their revenue fell off 40% after the first week, and I don't think Colorado cares. They still have the black market and the people selling on their own out there. I think they have a much more laissez-faire attitude. The only problem I see is not the legalization per se, but having the state involved. You go over to New Jersey and you pay $75 for a quarter ounce of weed. Well, $25 of that goes to the state. The state makes more money from weed sales than actual illicit weed dealers.
Here's what I promise you, though. When we know a guy, everybody knows a guy, Dan. I'm thinking of the guy over there, the first time you produced with me, that wanted to make that Shamokin the number one place for weed in the state. He probably could talk about. We're going to do more on this. Shamong.
Yeah.
Because you're raising a good point. Is it a mirage? How much do they actually bring in? I'm not so clear where the number is, but you're right. Look at the other.
As we've seen.
Look at the other
with
excess.
alcohol.
Look at what
Exactly.
they did. They went overboard saying police are biased, and in the marijuana bill, they said they can't say anything to kids in general or minority kids, and we had all hell break loose on the Jersey Shore. So I take your points. All right, Robert.
It's just.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely. I'm going to go with Christ the Redeemer statue outside of Rio de Janeiro. It's an amazing landmark, and fittingly, he's facing the sea so that his back is to the city, which is great during Carnival, if you know what I mean. You guys have a great day, all right?
Cool. Dispo Dan on the streets. Have you heard that? Coming off of dispensary weed.
The fifth on that one.
Yeah. Eamon Brown, though, is on to a whole thing with the vodka drink, too. Just it shows you how the minutia of these clowns in Harrisburg that can't be allowed.
It's still shocking to me to hear that, because what these are, they're essentially the new wine spritzers of 2024.
Right.
And there's not much difference in them, except for some have vodka and, hard alcohol in them, and some are just a spurn off of essentially smearing off ice.
I'll tell you what the thing is. It gives them great power. I've done on the air. I might do it again tomorrow. Sales tax. If you go into a fast food and get it, I think there's no, the other way around. If you go in and get it, there's a sales tax. If you do it in your car, there's not. The minutia, Dan, gives them power. And we don't even know about it. As much as I try to stay on top of it, they come up with all these petty schemes of what's taxed and how it's taxed or not. When it comes to alcohol, they go wild. There's some inside game there with the unions and everything else. So Eamon Brown was right on that. I'm more side with him on the marijuana thing than Robert, but I get it. There will be issues. All right, lightning round is next here with Dom and Dan on Talk Radio 1210.
1 in 5. That's how many people in our region are supported in some way by the Catholic Charities Appeal of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. With your gift, the Catholic Charities Appeal provides help to thousands of those experiencing homelessness, looking for a hot meal and a safe bed. The fact is, nearly 1 million times per year, our programs provide assistance to people in need. But we can't do this vital work without you. Your gift matters. Go to CatholicCharitiesAppeal.org to donate today.
Win a luxury 2024 Lexus SUV during the $1.2 million Polar Payout at Borgata. Now through February 24th, earn entries on slots and table games for your chance to win. 2 lucky players will take home a 2024 Lexus SUV. Drawings every Saturday with grand prize drawings on January 27th and February 24th. $1.2 million Polar Payout only at Borgata Hotel, Casino, and Spa. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth. And if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Want a hot investment tip? Get a new roof. When installed correctly with the correct shingles and venting, you can save loads of cash on your heating and cooling bills. Plus, it adds to your home value. Trust PJ Fitzpatrick to get it done right with a lifetime guarantee on materials and labor. PJ Fitzpatrick has thousands of 5-star reviews and over 40 years of experience. They can install most roofs in one day. Visit trustpj.com today to set up a free design consultation and take advantage of generous winter promotions.
Do you want to taste what America has to offer without leaving your own backyard? Then come to Liberty Union Bar and Grill in Chester Springs and Kimberton, where they feature Americana comfort food served in a warm and inviting bar and dining room. What are you doing for the big game on Sunday? Check out Liberty Union with a free halftime wing and pasta buffet. Or come for Valentine's Day with a 3-course meal for $99 a couple. Liberty Union Bar and Grill in Chester Springs and Kimberton, home of the free tater tots. Visit libertyunionbar.com.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today, I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
Yes, that is right. Got some great heavy hitters lined up here. Let's go to Chris in Malvern. I think he's got a pretty good one. Dan and I were debating this one. All right, Chris, Latin America, South America, what's yours?
I don't mind. Cocaine.
Now, Dan says Central America. What's your response? I had a one-word response to him.
The cartels.
I just said Colombia. Hard to beat.
Yeah, it's hard to beat Colombia. Once you said that.
Yeah. Good one, Chris. Leslie in Bryn Mawr. Leslie on Twitter goes wild, Dan, with this TV show for some reason. What's yours, Leslie?
Aloha.
Aloha.
I like Naked and Afraid.
Yes.
I'm just wondering if they now have a Brazilian version of it, and I wonder if they still use the blurs. Brazil's a little provocative.
To put it mildly, yes. I don't think they do. So, Leslie, you're a Harmeet Dillon person. You want her?
I am.
You want her to head up the RNC?
Absolutely. I've actually exchanged a few messages with her, and I'm also trying to encourage her to come to Pennsylvania and work on these Philadelphia suburbs. These women out here that need to be converted.
Look, she's one of our all-time guests, particularly in the middle of this. We'd love to get her on.
Yeah, she's awesome. I think you've named the trifecta. Although that's a lot of, I don't know, like Vivek and Harmeet may have a lot of ego going there. I can't see Vivek. I think he'd be a great stumper, and he is.
Maybe that. Scott Presler would follow, saying he'd be fine.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Leslie. All right, Dan, we had some great ones today. It was another great side question. Give me a couple of contenders. What do you think?
Joe and Exton with Evita singing some of it. I didn't expect him to actually sing when I asked him for some of it. The girl in Ipanema, I can't even say that right. Tom and Glenmore. But the two that really stood out to me, Dom, Lori and Ringo's with Coffee, Chris and Malvern with Cocaine, the two C's from South America. Where are you going?
I'm going with Cocaine.
You want to go Cocaine?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think he nailed it, although there's, it goes down to Central America. I think it's Colombia, and I think Bolivia and all that stuff. So, yeah, just think your Philadelphia Eagles headed to that cauldron. It won't be around Carnival time. It'll be in September. I don't know what goes on in Brazil then. All right, big show tomorrow. Bill O'Reilly at 12:30. What would he ask Putin? Rich Cioli is next for 4 big hours. Follow on Twitter and vote on the question of why wouldn't you support Trump if you do now if he's convicted on something? I don't understand that. At Dom Show 1210, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling.